knew you would come eventually.
Sorry, Chief, it's just this case is really difficult and...
I thought Captain Spears told you to drop the case.
Yeah, but I think there's something more going on here. This note was pushed
Look,
under
Parla,
my...
if you want to keep digging, be my guest. But I thought you were a smarter man than that.
What do you mean?
You have until the end of the day. Now, let me get back to work.
But...
That's an order.
This ain't it, Chief.
Good luck, Parla. You're going to need it.
Darkness and into the fire. Out of the darkness and into the fire. History is waiting into the hands of fate, while destiny waits into the
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ECS Season 6 Finals, where today it is Championship Sunday. Tonight, one glorious team will lift the trophy and be crowned champions of ECS Season 6 as Astralis and MIBR fight it out in the Grand Finals. It all comes down to this. Will Astralis manage to claim their third ECS title, or will MIBR crush the dreams of the defending champions? Texas, are you ready? Sounds like you guys are well and truly warmed up. So without further ado, please welcome your grand finalists, MIBR and Astralis, to the stage.
Astralis and MIBR. You couldn't have asked for a greater final. Two of the teams that are at the tippy top of this castle. It started with 8, and these are the two most likely candidates to put on a show in this grand final. 3 maps is all we'll have of the 7, and we have got a star-studded stage, Jacob, to indulge ourselves in.
We sure have. I think we have the 2 best playing teams so far in this tournament. We have the Danes and Astralis, who won a lot of tournaments recently. Do they get bored of winning, Alex? I'm not too sure, but this one is going to be a good one.
Look, fresh off of that show match victory, I can tell you, victory, it just feels good.
You don't get bored of that feeling, do you?
Honestly, I feel like I've had like a special coffee this morning.
It's time to retire for you.
Try to describe the feeling for me, Alex. I would like to know.
No, but victory is absolutely imminent for one of the 2 teams taken to the stage. And if you want to feel like a winner, you can get involved on social media as well. Use the hashtag ECS6. What is it, Jason?
ECS6.
There it is.
That's
you see? That's nice and easy. You can get involved on YouTube as well. If you're watching, of course, you can go ahead and subscribe and click Get Loot to get loot. They've been giving away 18 million.
They're giving away a car
points
at some point too, aren't they?
Well, I mean, I don't think
you got to get there.
Yeah, you have to climb.
Yeah, you have to get the points.
But it is, you're on your way to a car if you click Get Loot. Instead of exclamation mark drop, which we all know doesn't work. One last bit of housekeeping to get out of the way before we talk about the Counter-Strike is, of course, that merch. It goes all the way through to Monday. They're doing a Black Friday sale, so if you want to go ahead and represent ECS or FACEIT, you can do so by heading to this link. Cool, job done. Let's talk about the Counter-Strike. We have Astralis and MIBR, and I can't help but feel very excited to see which MIBR we see. Jason, should we play recap? Let's get to this grand final first. For those of the members of the public that didn't quite catch all of the action, let's start at the very beginning. I mean, This is MIBR playing better than we've seen, of course, not too long ago over in Copenhagen.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously had a disastrous Copenhagen and not a very good Chicago following that either. Those were two very tough events, and obviously after those events, I know they kind of had the idea, like, we can't have that happen 3 times in a row. This is where we need to buckle down now and change some things and look at how we're playing and put some real work in, and they've obviously done that to a very good degree. Stewie talked about it in the interview yesterday, the work that Yanko and Fallen have done together to kind of figure out how to get those guys more involved and how to make them feel more comfortable, and it's showing. Yeah. But obviously the big thing on MIBR be able to stop Mousesports in that first stage. The big one is that best of 3 win in the group stage over Astralis, 2-1. Yeah, and that's the win for MIBR. If you go all the way back to Istanbul, Astralis beat MIBR in a series in the grand finals there. So I mean, this is kind of the tiebreaker now.
This is the one. Yeah, I mean, essentially to end their 2018, a bit of a rivalry brewing, Jacob. And that was, of course, one route. But Astralis, they were thrown into the lower bracket and didn't really feel like they broke too much of a sweat, as you can see there in that semi-final.
No, I mean, Astralis is a team that we have described as being slow starters as of lately, despite them winning all the tournaments and doing well. They seem to start out a little bit slow, coming in, you know, a little bit rusty and maybe not in full gear. We often talk about Astralis playing on the C level or the B level, but it seems to me that they've found out a way, you know, to win at the C level and now be ready with the A level when they go into the grand finals. We last saw it in Chicago, where they just absolutely dismantled Team Liquid after a rather rocky tournament where you were initially thinking into the final that this could be a close one, but Astralis just came out blazing, and it was a one-man show right there.
Yeah, I am really looking forward to this one. We're going to start talking maps, we're going to start talking win conditions and all of that good stuff. But let's go ahead and get hyped for this grand final first.
So now, Arlington, Texas, get ready as the Danish Astralis, the #1 team on the planet, face the Brazilians MIBR. So all you fans out there, grab some good Texas barbecue, put your cowboy boots up, take a swig of that good old-fashioned black gold tea, and get ready for an epic old-fashioned Texas shootout. Yeehaw! Ladies and gentlemen, this is the ECS Season 6 Grand Finals. Astralis versus MIBR. It's going down.
It certainly is going down, and which team will fall is the question. We start with the Danes. Now, I feel like somewhat of a man living a Groundhog Day reality every time I talk about Astralis, because there are so many points that you have to hit, and all of them have existed for like 8 months now as they've continued to climb for this top spot.
They've really capitalized on I mean, this isn't necessarily the reason that they're winning, but they're very much capitalizing on the fact that there were some teams with some confusion earlier in this year that they were able to kind of take advantage of, and that's when they really had their rise, and they solidified it, and they've been so far ahead that everyone's playing catch-up, and there was always, you know, there's that section where there's some roster mania and teams get a little bit further back, and I said this when that was going down, you're not going to beat Astralis by doing roster moves, right? You need to be a complete team the way that they are, you need to learn how to play the game better as teams, you need to use utility, use map control, and this team has just mastered all these different facets so much so.
If you had to kind of think, like, put your thinking cap on, Jacob and Jason, what do you think people have tried in terms of, like, people have tried to beat Astralis in a variety of different ways, Jacob? What's been tried? What's been attempted in the past?
I mean, obviously the first thing you go to when you look at a team like Astralis is the anti-strat part. You want to go in and you want to, you want to know the game down to the narrow. You want to know what smokes they throw. You want to know what nades they're throwing. You want to know how they rotate and how they build up their game. So obviously anti-stratting is a big part of it. But next level is, as you said, adapting into their play and stealing their good ideas. That's something top teams do all the time against each other. Even teams like LDLC or the tier 2 and tier 3 teams down there, they come up with some good ideas. And there's plenty of top teams out there stealing ideas from each other. So there's definitely been many top teams also trying to implement some of the way that Astralis plays with their nades, for example. Yeah. You see that doing a lot of damage and being very efficient with the flashbangs as well.
So this team are shifting an entire game's competitive meta, would be a summary.
They sure have.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it started with the nades, right? They were the first team that could really show that you can actually bring HE nades back into this, and actually coordinate them well enough to do massive amounts of damage. The problem if you're going to anti-strat Astralis and steal things is that, they're just so far ahead and you're always playing a step behind.
You certainly are. We're going to hear from Astralis now as they sat down with the camera crew before this grand final.
I think ECS has a very nice touch to it. It's very player-friendly, like it's very relaxed.
ECS is definitely a really good tournament. We just like it to play a lot because it's an online league that builds into a final, and you can really feel the build-up, the hype going on.
The flow and the feeling of playing good in my team makes very unique, I think. I don't think I've experienced anything like that in my previous rosters.
It's kind of weird, right? Because you never know how you get there. Sometimes you're just there.
That is when everybody is taking a lot of initiative. Like if Device is saying, I'm gonna go peak mid.
Like everything is just working out for you, right? If you do a mistake, you never get punished for it.
That's the best part of my job.
Once we get our game flowing, I think we play some of the best Counter-Strike ever.
Can you shut the fuck up?
We need to focus on the things that we know works for us, and we need to show the rest of the world that we're here to stay as the best team in the world. Yeah, I'm super nervous.
I think it's really tough to be the team that everyone wants to beat. Not only are they stealing your stuff, but they also know how to counter it a lot because they have been looking so much at it. I just expect us to play a little bit better than we did in Chicago, be a little more consistent, be a little more hype, a little more pumped when we play, and just show a really strong level.
The goal of this tournament is obviously to win.
The goal is to win, as we always do.
Wow. Dupree bringing some sass, and they certainly have managed to get pretty damn close. In the grand finals, MIBR standing in their way, but I mean, I feel like I learned quite a lot from that video there, Jason.
With Danish people, it's almost like, how many trophies do you have to win before you really feel comfortable putting some spice out there, isn't it?
That's the best.
Finally, Dupree is doing some of that. So it only takes, what, 6, 7 apparently in the last 10?
I think that's 7 now for you.
Yeah.
So
2 stars on their jersey as well, don't forget, major champions twice now. Not many afforded that luxury. But the question I think that stood out for me from that interview was that Glaive talked about how difficult it is to stay on top, and he refers that everyone is looking at you, and I just can't even imagine the levels of depth you go into a game of Counter-Strike where people have seen the same thing you're doing hundreds of times in their preparation to play you.
I think it's something that we often forget to talk about, how impressive it is that Astralis actually have managed to stay on top for such a long time. It's sort of like you can't put on a direct referral to like sports, for example, football or cycling for that matter, where you can't be on form for 365 days a year. I would apply some of the same, ideas to Counter-Strike as well. You can't be mentally in shape a whole year round. So the fact that they've been able to take their time off and readjust and maybe win on their C and their B level, even when they're not playing up to their best level, that's what's really impressive with this Astralis lineup, because we have talked about them making Counter-Strike and changing the meta, but we also seen a team that is able to dominate even when they're not at the best.
Yeah, and a team that we know all too well and are far too familiar with. Sometimes you're on, sometimes you're not. It is MIBR, and they spoke to the cameras as well. Let's have a look what they said.
Well, the goal in this tournament is always like a win, because every time we play a tournament it's to win. But I think like our team, we need this win because we need like confidence, and we are like we lost I think 5 tournaments in a row or something like that. It's like big tournaments.
Need you so much, so I talk like I don't. The game is all there is when you use those broken bones. It's all about the ride, followed by the phone.
It's hard to say how far we can get with this team. We have very high expectations on everyone in this team because everyone here has been good winners. Like everyone here won majors, everyone won a lot of tournaments, and of course when we mesh all together we want to have the same fashion.
Back on another clutch, here comes Coldzera storming in with that Glock in hand. There's one player and it's not even a contest with this man on the serve.
This preparation for this time was the best preparation we had, since we make this new team, and we are ready to compete against everyone.
Towards the middle position, but it's blocked by the top line, and Tarek sees Tarek cleared out with the help of Coldzera.
For sure we want to try to finish the year stronger than we started, and it's yet to be seen what's going to be. So I'm going to try to do my best and achieve those results for everyone.
MIBR are stepping into the ring versus Astralis, and they sound prepared. Yeah, Jason, that fill you with confidence?
It does, and I think a little bit of the confidence comes from just talking to the players. They seem to have some weird confidence playing against Astralis that they don't always have against some of the other teams. And I know part of it comes down to, I mean, it is just as a player, this is the match you want to be in when you're going up against a team and when you're going up against players who are at the peak of their game. You know it's going to be intense the entire way through, that it's going to be a battle, it's going to be a chess game. And that's where, you know, a lot of these players on Astralis and MIBR are like, they all thrive. They all step up their game just a little bit more for whatever reason when they're in these. And as I said, this is that rubber match. This is going to break the tie that we have between Istanbul and the group stage here, and I mean that's going to be a very, very sweet trophy to lift for one of these teams.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's just thickened by the fact that this is the third time they've met in a very short space of time, best of threes all the way. And there's a man on your screen worth talking about. Fer, recent interview here at ECS, shed some light on the issues he's been facing outside of game. Jacob, did you catch him?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it comes down to, as it always does, players are players also outside of the game. We often only see them play on the server, and we often also only think about them when they're on the server. But there's definitely many factors outside of the game that you have to control as a professional player. That being your mental state, that being your health, and all that sort of stuff. So it's annoying and a little bit, sad to hear when there's players outside of the game having problems. But that's just part of it, and you have to tackle them and be, a real professional about it. And sometimes you just have to take your time off and readjust. Health come first, and then come back even stronger.
He's been one of their top performers, though. I mean, it's good to see Fer back on, as was Fallen. I mean, I do want to address the elephant in the room while we talk about this.
All right, which one's the elephant?
The elephant was that in the group stage, everyone is adding a big asterisk to the win MIBR picked up by saying that there was big overperformances from Fer and Fallen, who have been underperforming it throughout 2018. Does that mean immediately that it's kind of not written off, but it requires the same performance here?
Yeah, I don't think it's fair to put an asterisk on it and say this isn't fully legit because you had those overperformances, because those are going to happen. They happen for Astralis once in a while. Every team gets that like one crazy game where a player just goes nuts, but you do have to look at it and say, if you're going to find win conditions for the next time they meet, is Fer really going to get close to dropping 80 kills across the series again? Is Fallen really going to get all those I think Fallen was, or coldzera was up at like 76 kills for the series as well. So those mental numbers that came out, and also part of the reason why they were able to get those big numbers is because Tui and Terok were very, very quiet. If they show up in these games, obviously you're not going to get those numbers, but it'd still be way more beneficial to have one of those two guys performing as well.
Of course, absolutely. That's on their checklist, and we'll see how close they get. First, though, the head-to-head. Let's have a little look and see who has been posted. Selected? Against one another, it is going to be Device and coldzera. Huge names.
Look at those stats as well. The ADR pretty much dead even. Same with the kills per round. I mean, coldzera with the AK a little bit more aggressive, still pretty tight on pretty much all across the board. But these are the two superstars of each team. I mean, you could put Fallen up there because he's an op, but coldzera, he's just a monster, and he has been for 3 years now.
Not only are they the two superstars of both teams, but they're also two of the most consistent players in the world. You always see them show up in big games. You always see them show up when it matters the most, and I expect no less from coldzera or Device in this matchup.
Well, it certainly matters here. Huge prize pool and pride on the line, and this is the two not only stars but consistent stars. That's a very interesting kind of asterisk to add, an important one as well. Now, before we even bring them up, we have to start that map conversation, right? Because this is going to be very interesting. Jason, do you want to set the scene, the lay of the land? Let me get up what they've played so far in those last two best of threes, but you go ahead.
Well, I mean, the bans are going to be easy, right? It's going to be Cash from Astralis, it's going to be Nuke from MIBR, which is great for MIBR. I happen to think we're going to see a curveball in this somewhere. I think we're going to see some weird maps that you don't expect. If I'm Astralis, I'm looking at Overpass as a very real option. This MIBR team, as much as we've talked about them underperforming recently, they only have one map that they play. Of the 6 maps that they play, that's actually negative in win-loss. I mean, not all of them are dominant, but that's not bad to have 5 maps that you're winning more often than you're losing on.
Yeah, it looks like you can get a sneak peek of what that first pick may be.
I mean, it would make sense if Astralis threw in a curveball. The only thing that suggests me that they're not going to do it is the fact that they were the guys removing overpass in the first map, so they don't seem necessarily confident playing the map. Here they go with Inferno, and I think that's a safe pick for them. Inferno is one of those maps that they always perform well on, and it's also a map that we did see MIBR struggle on against North and in the other games.
Well, it's popped up in every series so far.
Here's your curveball as well, the overpass, the losing record that MIBR has, obviously putting some prep into that. And the scary thing about this as well, their Inferno at times is real ugly to watch on that T side. That offense sometimes can get very much bogged down. So these are all worrying 2 map picks. I imagine we're going to get Dust 2 as the decider.
It will make sense, for sure.
We haven't seen them play Dust 2. Train, Overpass, Inferno, Mirage are the maps they've previously played in their best of 3s.
Actually, yeah, I forgot Mirage is actually one of the best maps for MIBR as well. So I mean, that's fair play. I mean, that overpass is the real risky pick for MIBR. They put themselves in a position to get O2, but if they get to that 3rd map, they're going to be very, very happy.
I think it's cool to see, though, that they're willing to take a chance there. They're willing to risk something going into this final. I mean, what often worked for Astralis is the fact that all the teams are scared of them, and they're scared of the map pool, so they always get to play the maps that they want to play. This time around, I'm 100% sure that Astralis would like to avoid playing overpass, so yeah, MIBR may not be as good on overpass, but they're at least giving something to Astralis right here.
So would you describe that as somewhat of an attempt at a punish pick, as an anti-strat, as a surprise?
They're trying to put a scare into them, basically.
I guess it's as close as you can get to a punishing Astralis in the map veto as you're ever going to. I mean, I don't think it's any kind of hard punish that Astralis is going to be like, oh crap, here we go. No. I think it's more from MIBR. That is a risky pick for that 2nd map.
And let's not forget that Astralis used to be by far the best team in the world on overpass, the most complete team. They had a strong T side, they had a strong CT side.
So is the core of MIBR though.
That's true, that's true. It's been a while though.
I'm looking at their recent overpass games. They've lost it 4 times recently. Na'Vi, NiP, AGO, and MIBR have all taken it to them.
They went on a streak, Astralis, of losing that overpass on LAN a number of times, and it's still like a winning record, but I mean, fair play, here we go.
It makes sense. Overpass was the map that avoided Astralis from winning their home event in Blast Pro Series. I believe they played it twice, as you said, and lost it both times. So that was the map that they fell short on and couldn't really win when it mattered the most, when they had to perform in front of their home crowd. So MIBR knows that, and they know there may be a little bit of a weak link here in Astralis.
And you can see the headphones are just being adjusted, the final preparations being done. Gents, we're nearly there. I want to hit talk expectations. It's grand finals. I know you don't love to do them, but it is prediction time.
Alex, I love predictions. This is my favorite part of the set.
You want to do a series prediction or you want to do a map prediction? What would you prefer?
Let's go map by map. We'll see how things play. Yeah,
Inferno, who's taking it?
I think Astralis is taking Inferno. I almost, listen, I would like to see someone be able to take down Astralis, but their Inferno is too strong, and I think at the moment, despite the fact it being a grand finals and these players, they can change things up. They can throw the playbook out and they can perform on this stage, but Inferno is going to go to Astralis.
I definitely agree. The last 2 times they've played Inferno, it's been 16-14, so both games have been close. I expect nothing else than a close game, but Astralis is just too strong for Inferno.
Too strong. The Danes to take Inferno is what the panel is thinking. All we know is it's going to be one hell of a game. The grand finals are beginning, and the voices of it are ready. Henry G and Sadakist to fill your ears with casting delight.
Thank you so much, Alex. Yes, we will. It's an honor to take part of the ECS finals here in the esports arena. We open this weekend with an epic final, Astralis MIBR.
It's going to be so good. This is the final we deserve, I think. The teams available here this tournament, it's fantastic. We have one from the North American division and European clashing in the final, and a veto as well. It's actually quite exciting. The fact we have Inferno, a little bit scary, but ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've all been waiting for, we are off. It's Astralis MIBR ECS Season 6 finals here. It's Astralis starting on the T side, and we're right into the action now. We're going to see Smokes and the first frag as Fur, aggressive of course, pushes towards second middle, will open things up against Dupree, and that's going to slow Astralis right down.
Certainly does. Fur getting aggressive, not taking any time to allow them to settle into a default. They will take pace back toward B on the Astralis side instead. They've got the boost for Stewie, and he spots down Ziggly, but can't get the shot block. Instead, Device follows it. So the response is swift. Not only that, it's all the way over on the B site, which forces the rotations. Despite that pick came on the A side of the map, it really doesn't amount to anything in terms of holding off the bomb plant. That said, bomb needs to get inside of the site. Hasn't done so yet, and Tarek, smoke down, does have a chance to try and push further through. He's got a teammate, I think, boosted up here. There's still a lot of time in the smoke. I think there's about another 10 seconds on it. That just went down as he turned around. So this bomb's backing away from it. They don't want to risk taking the plant with that boost going up. That smoke was late.
Here we go then. Bomb still yet to go down. It's Zipex finding that completely open side. This is almost impossible now for MIBR to pull this one back. Mage is holding towards the library as well. It's just so perfect. The fact Tarek's got 19 HP, I just don't see a world where MIBR can pull this one off. It's coldzera, who is an Inferno specialist here. He's going to have to go above and beyond for his teammates. But like I said, that position in library, he doesn't have time to check every single corner here, Matt. That's going to be the round. And Tarek might be better off just saving the diffuse, getting flashbangs here. Might be able to silhouette a kill, but not quite. There it is, Astralis. Certainly the favorites here at Inferno, Matt. We can't argue with that. This is their map. They're so good on it. And they have a great pistol after losing the first pick as well. It's all about Glaive, who just keeps on performing on Inferno. It's amazing to watch at times.
So Astralis takes an early lead, and it'll be a force buy from MIBR. We have seen good success on it throughout the weekend. 3 smokes. So some good utility. They want banana control. Keep that in mind when we swap over to T-side. We talked about this yesterday with Astralis. They're so good at taking banana, so good with utility that you almost have to take it late or not at all.
Remember, this is MIBR force buying in the second round. Yep. Not a lot of teams do this, but they have pretty much every round of this tournament. So we'll be interested to see if they can win it. They actually have had great success. They've got so much talent available to them. Very smart players as well. But if they check the boost, this round should be over. It's Stewie that goes down. He is known to anchor that B bomb site solo most of the time. If you find a kill on him, you can almost guarantee the site's going to be open for yourselves. And that's going to be bomb going down, and they might just consider saving the CZs and Desert Eagles here, so they have a chance of actually fighting back in the next round, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Nice round from Astralis. Didn't give too much away there, just a single kill, bombs down, and they could maybe explore the idea of going for a bit of a hunt here with the UMPs. Obviously, there's money to be farmed there, but so far, so good, but still a dangerous round next if all 3 players survive on the CT forces.
Good start again. I like how on the desk as well, Pimp and Jason agreed that this is probably the best veto you could put against Astralis. Like, it was the closest you could get. And then they go on to say, well, Overpass, they're still the best team in the world. It's like, is there any veto that's going to give you a chance?
Yes, the good thing that MIBR had coming into this, their go-to veto is Nuke. So they had that working in their favor at least, as we will see. Fur, take another kill away. That's going to be a UMP picked up at least. As we get into round number 3, still have to be very cautious one. Usually you'd have just USPs, no armor. You could just run around the map, farm some cash, but they need to be careful here. Players like coldzera, he actually has one of the scariest Eagles in CSGO right now. He can find headshots.
So Fur does get a UMP out, which is formidable. Certainly if he can play position and get flashed in, they've got 2 to work with off of Cold. Fur himself has 1. And expectedly, he's over toward the B side of the map, but again, they won't go aggressive on Banana. I expected almost he would play half wall, perhaps try and get flashed in that position. Instead, he's going to be more passive, so they want to have the crossfires for when they actually arrive on the site.
Well, here we go then. They've got that B control, but you can see the bomb's still down at T steps. There won't be a full commitment, at least for 30 seconds or so. Device, oh my goodness, he's going to struggle here. He's definitely going down. How is he still alive? Finally, they get him. It's going to be Fallen to pick up the kill. They get an AK-47, but is it going to be enough to pull this one back? Advantage for now, but as you can see, Astralis getting themselves ready to pop towards the arch side. They're waiting for that smoke to go down. Good Molotov to force coldzera out of position, but that Desert Eagle, watch out for it. We know he's good with it. All of a sudden, the kills are coming in favor of MIBR. It's going to be a 4 versus 2 with Dupree and Glaive stuck against it now. I'm not sure they can pull this one back. There is a minute remaining, and they might have made a great call here to go towards that B side.
They might have. They've snuck through them. They're 2 in library. I don't even think we're aware of this. They now realize they have to work back out, but Glaive's going to have position on this. They still don't know it. They rotated out of A. They're going to go together. They have to at this point in time. So much ground is lost. Bomb plant's important as well, because Astralis, again, if you win the first 2 but lose the new, I guess, gun round 4 previously, still need a better way to say that, but the point is, by getting this bomb plant down, that's going to ensure they still have a perfect buy in the next round despite losing this, and despite the investment early on. Glaive holding, good find on Stewie. We may not have to worry about the bomb plant. We might have to worry about the entire round. Now Dupree, only with 9 HP, is going to get caught. That Molotov was a little late. They were too close. They were able to swing, pick together. Glaive almost gets them both, but Fallen trades it back. And it did start with the flash on B, but it wasn't the SMG. Fur was playing passive in that position.
Well, they win the round. That's massive. And I did say coming to this one, you have to be so careful. If they saved Eagle Armor, it can be chaotic. And unfortunately, it was Device that this is the moment where it all starts to fall apart. If you have a player like that with a rifle, in a position as common and prevalent as the banana area. If he goes down with nothing, gives a rifle away to MIBR, that could be enough, and it certainly was. Glaive fall back the best he could, but overwhelmed in the 2 versus 1 in the end. Couldn't find the double spray down, and we are off. We've got a double orb set up here. Fallen and coldzera, classic MIBR double orb. We've seen Tarek joining him with the responsibility, seen they've gone back to what they know works, and we'll see now if Astralis with their MAC-10 can answer back here. They did have enough money for a pretty decent buy, 4 AKs, a lack of all the utility device with nothing here as we enter the 1 minute 30 mark, and Fallen, it's so good at this side of the map, Matt. He's great at close range, he knows when to go for the wall bangs, and he's going to fall back to defensive line, but he's got so many tricks up his sleeve
He
here.
thought about that. He saw that Molotov be thrown and thought maybe there's someone on the wall, but elected not to shoot it and not give away the fact that it's on the site. As of yet, still playing towards CT, that's easily smoked off, and I presume will be. But he can stick around with the angle already lined up and fire into it. One will do exactly that. There he goes, flash as well. No smoke as of yet, they want to put it late. And he's still blind, still in the open. Device absolutely destroys Stewie on entry. And Fallen was nearly caught off as well. He's fortunate to get away from this, and I think getaway is the key word.
Yeah, that's it, that 1 kill, and that's a very methodical process from Astralis. You see the smokes deployed, the flash is over. It was very awkward for the timings there. Fallen normally good for 1 kill, couldn't find anything there. You can see overwhelmed, flashed off, and then his teammate absolutely battered by Device there. Great opening kill, and it's enough to guarantee victory here. Astralis know, though, 4 players staying alive. They could go for a hunt. Their money's not exactly great. They might just want to keep all 5 players alive. And MIBR on a double orb setup as well. That's the main problem with this setup. It can be fantastic, but if you have to go for a retake, especially in that B bomb site, 2 orbs is just not going to be sufficient, and Fallen decides to fall back, and we'll see Mages with the MAC-10. He can definitely justify going for a bit of a hunt here. Doesn't necessarily want that weapon in the next round, as Tarek will find him. Like I said, not a huge deal. Definitely affects the money for them a little bit there, but 4 players do survive on the Brazilian side there. 3-1 Astralis, and another gun round to take place here. It's going to be round 5, and Fallen and coldzera still on those orbs. Do they want to try and get super aggressive here, try and face towards T-steps, knowing that Device doesn't really bring out the orb on the T-side unless he picks one up for free?
Cold back out toward middle, won't be aggressive this time. Smokes it off and actually falls away instead, so that second off will play passive. That's mostly in response to the fact that 3 players on Banana want to try and control this. They know that Astralis love this portion of the map, so playing aggressive as a result. Nice shot from Fallen, great timing. Glaive tried to step out and got absolutely obliterated by it. They're going to boost him back up as well, and Fallen still one of the only... Ooh, that Molotov nearly causing problems as they failed to get up there 3 times now. Owen does in the end. 3rd time's a charm. Device goes down. He's one of the only oppers that still likes to play that position, CT side.
He loves it. I really enjoy watching him towards B, and he ain't done just yet. He still hunts if it kills. The pre-fire through the smoke. It's going to be Mages stuck in towards those logs. Decent grenade. Still a recoverable situation here for Astralis. It's a 5-on-3 short, but remember, those double orbs sometimes can be problematic. If the bomb does get planted, they get that 1 kill they need to access the bomb site. It could be enough. Very standard setup here on the CT side. You see 3 players, crossfires on the bomb site here. coldzera focusing towards quad, gets that 1 kill, falls back, repositions, but they're focusing on Arch, and you can see it's Tarek who's watching that with the M4, but no presence towards the actual CT spawn side or library. They could sneak through, but CTs will have a setup for that. I think it'll be Stewie who will be looking towards the CT spawn position as Dupree tries to show presence towards the A site.
Presence is found, certainly felt by Tarek. Gun barrel showing. Cold didn't respond to it. Wanted to make sure that no one was getting out of Palace in the meantime. Fur just destroyed, but just was able to swing in from library, and they weren't quite aware of that angle yet because they didn't think they were that far. As Cold only gets 1 second later, he might have had both on a lineup, but just gets the trade immediately. 6 seconds they're on the plant, not the defuse. That comes after potentially in a 2-on-2 retake. Fallen and Stewie. Now the defuse needs to be quick because they don't have a kit to speed it up when it actually does get into duration, and just finding 1 already. I don't think the second was spotted. Fallen still looking toward the pit. He's not going to have much to work with.
He has no kit here, and the AWP. He might be able to get 1 kill here, but surely he'll be traded out. Oh, he sees the head of Mages. That's a kill. He can go for the quick scope here. My God, Fallen's done it. He pulls it off. He finds the kit, the defuse. That's definitely happening. The master of the sniper does it once again in another close range situation. That was brilliant.
What a pace on that. Slowed the shot down, knew that Magisk was there, and lined it up. He could have walled that. He was only on about 5 HP, but he still hits that shot. And brilliant prediction to find Dupree in the corner as well. Look at that.
Oh, there it is. Bad falling at the bottom as well.
He's got this kit beside the bomb. It was perfectly set up for him. So 3-2, MIBR pulled around back, and it's going to leave Device on just a Deagle. And 4 AKs only for Astralis. Once again, Banana, the point of contention early on. 3 Molotovs thrown out. 1 high from the Astralis side, and then 2 to cut off the entire lane from MIBR. This is going to be a battle, I think, for at least 8 or 9 rounds in this half before someone finally concedes and says, right, let's play a different style default, whether they go to more toward the 3 on A for MIBR or if Astralis finds a way to just put pressure. But this is going to be the early battle.
Oh, this is just warming up. This is the grand final we wanted. Fallen looking excellent. Astralis still, though, challenging him towards this B side of the map. He goes to the repeat, absolutely fearless here as he continues to look for a boost. Anyone trying to knock him back. They got a Molotov, presumably in the corner before they commit here, but this is what he's waiting for. He gets another kill, just 1 step ahead every single time.
Great shot by Glaive, though, because Stewie was baited in off of that. Fallen takes 2, and they could almost slide out, but downed immediately. Late on the boost, but again, 2 players, new box. This isn't common. Not gonna go for it. First thinking about it, but he's gotta be careful with that rifle. Orange's 2 already taken up by Glaive. Around the corner he goes. They both burn?
Yeah.
That actually was the nade came in afterwards and did the damage. The final tick from fire kills them both, and that allows the site and the plant.
They were going for the bait and switch. We normally see that towards Emo and the bomb's down. You have 1 player there with the AWP suggesting he's using new boxes. You kill him, you think that position's clear, then he can pop out. But if you Molotov it like that, I think they stack the mollies as well with nades, and there's no way MIBR can pull this one back. They are fully invested into this. Remember, Fallen, sure, he won the previous round, but only 1 player survives. Their money is done for, and out of nowhere, a round that didn't look possible, Astralis with a double Molotov win it.
Astralis would have been absolutely relieved to see 2 kills arrive there, because they would have thought only 1 was in that position. They were doing that as a standard procedure for clearing it. As soon as the second one came in, get the bomb down, round over, so they pull it back 4-2. No heroics from Fallen this time. 2 M4s carried over. 2450 and 1700, the amount of money that Cold and Tarek have, so just shy of bringing out a full rifle, but Cold's already brought over the UMP. So they will distribute the wealth. Fallen's going to be the one to have the SMG. They're probably hoping that he can build back up some cash to get an AWP out again soon.
Unbelievable scenes. Burn, baby, burn. We'll see round number 7 take place. It's a very difficult situation. Fur's got USP. Now a CZ, I've had to say, that doesn't look right. And he'll get a pistol in the end. This is everything from MIBR. They love a 4-spine for good reason. So much talent available. The aim is available in buckets and spades. We'll see whether they can do anything about this. But Astralis, they gave up around already the pistols. They don't want to do that again. Sure, there's a couple of rifles there, but they do have a massive upper hand here. Device now with the AWP. Just starting to get warmed up as they go for the B control once again. That seems what they're focusing most of their efforts. Like I said, Stewie known to play this bomb site alone most of the time. That was happening until his teammate rotates in. That's Fallen. Fallen with the SMG. Stewie with CZ up against 5 Astralis players hungry for another trophy. As all 5 wait on the other side. The flash is good. Device gives up the fact he's got the AWP in that position. No kill found, and that'll call for a rotation here from Fur. They've actually got manpower on this side.
Nade through does damage onto Fur. Beneficial for the take. Fallen with an nade back, doesn't quite go far enough. Ooh, bounces, yeah, didn't do anything. Got in behind the wall. I was gonna say, didn't quite go far enough to get it down the lane, over top of the wall. That might have done more damage with 3 players sitting low, waiting for the execution. Bounce Molotovs. Clear close side as well. Flash. Molotov's gonna spill the orange 1 and 2. Fallen steps up, that's 1 kill only on the USP. Stewie's got an AK in front of him, but he can't get that far. He's found by Magiska, and Zipex Magiska's looked amazing on entries this tournament, by the way. I think this is one of his better in terms of finding the opening frags.
Absolutely agree. 4 players survive and blocks things once again. It's MIBR, another agonizing save for them. It's becoming a bit of a trend here in Inferno. Had a couple of scrappy victories, but once again, saving the M4s. And with the loss bonus only going to be the second stage after this one, that's $1,900. And that actually is such a problematic situation. You've got 2 M4s here and a CZ of armor. Are you just force buying again because you're like, well, we've got this. Do we just try and do the best what we can, but still you have the disadvantage and then throw the money away?
It's a super tough call because if you can get out the SMGs and build up a little bit, you're going to have a 3rd round bonus potentially afterward, and you want to try and keep Astralis' money honest. But at the same time, you're not going to have a perfect buy if you don't just bite the bullet and save.
Absolutely. I don't know what the best call is here. those guys will have a much better idea than I will. We'll see whether they're going to invest or just maybe get Deagle armor on the two other players, try and drop whatever pistols they can, and see if that's the right call. I think a tactical timeout is definitely required here. It doesn't look like they're going to call for it.
Well, they had lots of time while they were saving potentially to talk about what they wanted to do with it, so they are going to bite the bullet.
So just 2 full EK players, not even P250s there, surprised at the fact they're going to get 2,400 next round. Did he kill the chicken?
I think he probably wanted to chase him away from mid, to be honest, to not reveal anything. If
well, no animals were
nothing
harmed
else.
at least.
Yeah, no animals were harmed. Device the first kill. Xyp9x has got a lot of pressure being applied, manages to withstand the first of it, but not the second, as Tarek will get the shot back. That's one of the M4s. Now they know there's a gun down in that position. And from what we know, there's no one that was able to babysit that, so they could push up and try and grab it. Unfortunately,
Dupree.
There's other things going on that require attention first, and Tarek actually gets another, so now it's 3-on-3. That gun is definitely still there, and Xyp9x is aware of it. Or excuse me, Tarek's aware of it. He's going to rotate around.
Device, this
Get the AK.
cost him his life.
Yeah, so 2 AKs picked up. Excuse me, that was Stewie. I thought it was Tarek. It was Stewie. So now they've got 2 AKs upgraded from M4. Fur's not going to be able to get one. He's locked inside of ruins.
Well, every second he waits on his sandbags is going to guarantee the bomb, but he's got the kill on Device here. He's going to go for the knife as well. I think he probably should, considering their money situation. Oh, he lets his teammate die, unfortunately, for it. We do get the knife, the crowd pleaser. They might be able to go for this. No, his teammate's at T-steps, to be fair, so he won't save the AK for. He gets the knife, cost him his teammate, but still, they're going to have 2 rifles. That's what they started this round with, so it's actually better because they get AKs, right?
Exactly. Now, yes, the knife gets him the extra money. That's what you're thinking. However, it's actually more costly, because if you hadn't just killed him with the CZ, they have 3 AKs, which is more than the $1,500 you just made for doing that.
Indeed.
So I know he was thinking money, and it was the right thought process. It just...
bit unlucky.
Yeah, he didn't think it fully all the way through, unfortunately, not seeing that kill coming in. So either way, again, we talked about this. They saved it out. Cold's going to be the one of the AWP this time.
Yeah, this is when he takes matters into his own hands. Maybe he's got that good spawn. Can we check out Coldzera? Yeah, he wants to go towards middle here and see whether he can maybe open things up. Doesn't commit to the peak, so maybe he just feels like he's going to be more effective with the AWP towards middle than Fallen could be at B, because that's where they're really struggling right now. We're trying to change things up with a double rifle setup instead of Fallen on the AWP. As they leave, again, Stewie alone. He's got the AK this time, though. That's where he can do his best work. He can go and challenge for the jewels. He's hungry, he's aggressive. He wants to challenge them one-on-one. So the AK can actually have freedom to do that now.
Flashes, send the lots toward mid. Cold's in the corner with an AWP. They don't check it. Turn around. Oh my goodness, how does he get that? No scope. Nearly gets a third because Glaive's distracted and he wants to get back out. But no further aggro on Glaive. He's got the lineup. That was impressive and almost depressing because they walked right by the AWP.
Yeah, that's a very overlooked spot. I don't know what it is about that position, but it always seems to happen. We will see 2 kills on the AWP. Coldzera seemed to have positioned himself perfectly as Tarek will try and fall back, dropping another incendiary there just to buy himself some time to get in a more defensive position, as now they'll go back towards B. Like we said, that's where they found most of their success here. They've only got 2 smokes, but that's fine. You can smoke towards Coffins and CT spawn. I just don't think that Astralis will be winning this round. Stewie is almost certainly going to get at least 1 kill, and then it's going to be, what, a 3-on-2 on the retake, and that should be enough time. Molotov perfectly deployed. They're going to have a real tough time getting through that.
Tarek swinging out. Finds enough damage on Device that Stewie, nice transfer as well, is able to take down Xyp9x. Glaive only on 1 HP against 4, so not likely this goes anywhere except the way of MIBR. 6-3. Stewie confirms it. Good round for him. All 3 in the site. Yanko likes that.
Yeah, that's what they need. They need a nice clean round. No bomb was planted on the Astralis side, and now they're starting to whittle away at that money. They're going to build their own. They've got 3 AKs on the CT side. Yes, a grim start, but they can absolutely bring this one back. It's 6-3, and Coldzera, like I said, I don't know what it is, man. We've casted so many games where this position's overlooked, and I don't know what it is about it, but it's a weird one. And Stewie, as mentioned, you're going to expect him to get at least a frag or 2 there. As we've got a little technical pause here, a chance to catch our breath and just work out what we've seen so far. It's been very exciting, some exhilarating rounds. That one from Fallen especially was absolutely fantastic, but still, even with an epic clutch like that, you'd expect them to have more than 3 rounds on the board right now, but still quite early days. Astralis with enough for a full buy of maybe 1 compromise in the form of Xyp9x. He's got $3,000. There's Yanko, waiting to see if they can topple Astralis on Inferno. Not many teams can, Matt.
Not many teams can at all. And remember that MIBR, despite that they have 3 rounds already, they struggle a lot with that banana position. We've seen it ever since, go back to the Star Series with G2 and the nightmare with Phelps and Fur. It's something that they just don't ever get right. They're either too passive or too aggressive. So far this game I've been impressed with it. They're using utility to hold Astralis at bay, and Fallen has looked excellent on the op in that position. So that's a change already that could lead to, you're right, the results, to finally someone taking down Astralis on Inferno. That's in a major, yeah, close enough. In a final of the ECS season. I mean, that's impressive in itself. They've had relative ease with finals so far, Astralis this year.
Glaive. Seeing the flames encroach on his position, but he's absolutely fine, gets to save his smoke. That might seem like a small detail, but in post-plant situations, smokes are king. So the fact he can keep it there and avoid the damage is fantastic for him. So, nice default here, haven't taken any damage, as Astralis once again dissecting this B side of the map. Molotov to push players back like Fallen, and it won't be him on the AWP again. It seems that they want coldzera to be AWPing towards middle. It worked before, got them that successful round, so why not? Tarek setting up the smoke for his teammates there, just to back them up. That's going to mean they have Fallen and Stewie there. Stewie still has his smoke as well for a minute on the clock, so does Fallen and an incendiary. They are very well equipped. That's fantastic from Tarek, just very selflessly coming over, dropping a smoke, buying them some time, and that's going to actually boost the B-bomb site dramatically.
Glaive with a flash over, Device the one up close, smoked off however by the CTs. This buys some space. It's a pretty big gap.
Yeah, Device could actually creep through and go for a kill if he wanted to. But he is alone. He's just firing off shots there. You can see no targets in sight. He just wants to sell presence while his teammates go towards middle. Oh my goodness. Lucky to be alive there. Fur wasn't expecting a free kill like that.
No, nade out, walking into the cubby. Zipix will fall off of it, and the presence from Device will now be aided. He'll have some momentum behind it as Stewie sits on top of the coffins. Watch for Fallen flashing him in, trying to get the shot out. Smoke's still down. There'll be one in his face now, but he stays forward. That smoke's a little bit deep. I think Stewie had an angle. Magisk still finds the shot in return. Fallen, he's got to swing this perfectly. Baits out some shots, tries to get a pre-fire from Zipix, does. That gives him away the location, and now he's got Magisk as well. Brilliance from Fallen to figure out exactly where they were. Bomb still gets planted, but it's Dupree that has to go against 4. And he's already looking behind him to at least secure his position, so he has any chance at it. But they've cleared the site in the meantime. They know he's there. They've got him on an off angle, meaning they can hold this defuse, and he only gets 1. Fallen fittingly finds his 5th, an ace in the round.
It's all about that utility usage we pointed out in the mid stages of the round itself. The fact that Tarek set them up at about the 1 minute mark of another smoke that buys them 15 seconds, they can hold them to the utility. Right at the end there, you can see the smoke deployed. Astralis have to go through one by one, and they're not even challenging together. They're just making sure one peeks, takes the aggro away for the other. Stewie flashing them on Fallen goes with the pick, and you can see the clock just running down dramatically. I've been said he can't plant. There was 4 seconds left on it. They get the bomb down, but it cost them everything as Fallen and Stewie just dismantle them. And we get into round number 11 here. There's going to be a partial buy with the CZs and the Deagles. Fur looking for kills here, and so is Tarek here. Wild spray, and he'll take down Device. So that's exactly what they wanted, but Fur doesn't seem to be falling back just yet.
Yeah, he's gone though. Does get Glaive before Magisk returned it. And this forces Cole to rotate quickly because, oh, that's brilliant, because they had to get back to the site. They had no one over toward the apartments as soon as Fur went down. They lost that whole side of the map, so he gets there in time to find a kill coming out from doorway as Magisk wants to smoke, flash, drop in, has AK in position, knows where Tarek is on the site. Fallen, reverse side of the box, still front library, gets the shot back. Cold went down to his right. That, I think, gave Magisk the thought that he could use that to his advantage, but Fallen certainly ready, leaves us now with Dupree, and our round looks to bring us to 6-5. MIBR starting to really bring this close, and you said it. They're looking like they could potentially give Astralis a scare on this map. Remember, it's over past second, and if needed, and it might be Mirage.
Absolutely. I'm really excited for the map ball, actually, and MIBR looking sharp now. Like you said, a rough start, but now 3 rounds in a row. They're closing the gap. Inferno isn't as one-sided as it used to be. CT side, sure, you can maybe game for 8-9 rounds. That's absolutely fine. They're definitely still on for that. As we'll see a tactical timeout, the first use, I believe. So it'll be Astralis to call it. We're going to see them considering their options. Zonic definitely wanted to get involved and give his thoughts on what he's seen so far. They are going to be buying up into this. As you can see, the AK is being purchased. Got about 5K on Dupree. I don't think we'll see the AWP. Not really worth it on Inferno, especially when he can't really afford it. MIBR, though, kind of gone away from that double AWP setup. And ever since they have, you can see they've had a lot more success. I think you want to focus players like coldzera. He has picked up the AWP, but we want on the rifle as well. The double AWP setup, and it's not working against an execution-based team like Astralis, who are shutting you out and finding his great entries. You need the rifles there to be a little bit more dynamic, I think.
He doesn't really land. 12 damage over 2 players fallen. Stay with that AWP. This time, for the first time, they're actually going to leave him as a solo anchor. So that suggests to me that they're pleased with the way things are going on Banana, that they finally have the confidence that they've contained Astralis. And by leaving him there on that op, they can now strengthen up A. I knew it was going to take a few rounds to jostle for this position, but MIBR seemingly have done enough. Fallen checks. I don't think he spotted Device getting there. Now he does? No, he didn't. He didn't see it at all. He was off by at least a pixel. It's got to be that close. It was so narrow, the margin, but that's going to give him an AWP and a chance to try and work out exactly where they are at B, and they're not. Remember that. They have to rotate back, so it's only towards CT connector for Stewie.
There we go, a smoke down to try and get back on the bomb side there. It is going to be Stewie making his way back. Fallen was holding B by himself. That is a very common setup with the AWP. Get it towards the barrels, allowing you to have 4 players towards the A side of the map, but it falls apart if you lose that sniper. Luckily, there was only Device there, so they couldn't just collapse into the site and take over. So Stewie had time to rotate in, but again, he is there solo. This is a much different situation we had previously. There's no smokes available for MIBR now. A few flashes, an incendiary, and a 5-on-4 in favor of the Danes. They will finish up towards A here, but will they go for the execution or more of a contact approach here through the apartments? There's the flash. Very basic, and see if they can find the opening kills.
Xipix does. Cold corner. They don't check it. Oh, he nearly missed out on that. Cost him a lot more ammo than potentially it should have. Still with 16, he fired out but couldn't find Dupree as Fur gets the trade. It's bomb planted nonetheless, and Xipix holds up inside of the pit. That's going to be position that Stewie has to try to overwhelm. He's only got 2550 at this. They've got to buy in hand, but only if he saves this gun, because 200 for Tarek, 1750 for Fur.
Yeah, he needs to save, and they've got a decent buy. He's just looking for an on-probing now and seeing if there's an exit frag potential. Their money's very weak on the Astralis side. Every kill he does get at this point will actually be incredibly valuable. Looks like he fancies his chances, not of the round, but of finding a few kills. Gives his position up, and that might cost him now. How does he get out of this spot? I'm not really sure. It's going to be Glaive to take him down. He doesn't get anyone with a bomb blast either, so expensive situation. Still a buy nonetheless. I think they can get the AWP out for sure. Fallen with $8,000 here. So I assume this is a timeout at this point. It looks technical to me. Yes.
Yeah, it is indeed. That's 7-5.
I see on the scoreboard there a couple of players missing off the server, so yep. I assume we've had a bit of a dropout. Just restarting Steam, Matthew. So nothing's going to be alarmed.
They ran out of steam, Henry.
Indeed. But it will be another round on the board for Astralis there, courtesy of an opening pick from Device. There was nothing tactically brilliant about that. He was just in position. Fallen wasn't quite watching the angle. He opens things up.
Yeah, he was shoulder picking it. At the exact second he disappeared, Device crossed.
So just a small nuance as to why Device got the kill. And then, like we said, a simple approach towards the A site. 3 players in the apartments, 1 flashbang. I think they had a smoke towards library as well. And they get out, find the opening kill. That was Xipix. And Cold Zera, again, Astralis seem to be overlooking a lot of common positions there. We saw Cold Zera right in the corner. A lot of CTs play there. Astralis didn't even check it in all the chaos, and that could have cost them the round, but they are very good at landing on their feet in these sort of situations. They managed to put it off in the end, and it will be 7-5 on the T side of Inferno. Looking great for them so far. Definitely the favorites here. MIBR had a very turbulent season as they try and define this roster, work out what the roles are within the team, what are the maps that are good. And it seems to be such a question mark around so many areas of their play. But now getting deep in tournaments regularly, it seems, and this is a grand final against the world's best. A fantastic opportunity to showcase the development of the squad.
So money as it is, that's the bigger call for MIBR, having not saved over the M4. Getting deep in the half as we are about to start, any second surely, about to start round 13. It's Dupree we're waiting on. Fortunately, his gun's still on the ground in spawn. They'll be able to resume without doing too much medicing once we get in. Yanko has to stay silent this whole time. That must be hard on him.
Yes, absolutely. I think you might be right there. But yes, we are hopefully getting everything back underway. We've got 9 players on now. There's Dupree. His numbers currently set up 4-9. He definitely hasn't had the best tournament run here by his standards by any means. I would say he would admit that as well, but his teammates have gone above and beyond the moments than they are required to. You mentioned Mages. He's looked fantastic. Xipix great as usual. Device always going to be up there. So consistent. Really, really well done. Yanko's called for a timeout there, so he wants to talk. He wants to get stuck in here.
Fair play. That actually makes sense given the circumstances, knowing what we knew about the money. So yeah, he's telling Fallen, please actually call a timeout now, because during the technical they can't even do that. So this will turn from a technical to a tactical. That'll give us 30 seconds more in which they can talk. And then freeze time will commence.
Yes, you are right there. Yanko obviously wants to give his 2 cents on the current financial situation. They can, so just to kind of context, they can buy 2 orbs that they really wanted to, but remember I did mention that doesn't really seem to be working out too well for them. But in this sort of scenario, when you can maybe only get SMGs to go along with the orbs, maybe that could be the right call. Get a bit more aggressive, try and go for this first picks. Fallen does look sharp today, but we're getting to the latter stages now, round 13, it's still only 5. I'd say they do need to win the half to stand a chance here. It's that T side is where we've commented in the past and said, it's only coldzera. If he steps up and gets like 20 kills in the half, that's when they actually look very good. It's very important he has good performances in Inferno. Otherwise, they look like it's not actually an amazing map for them. But obviously, at the veto process, they had to get rid of Nuke. And playing Inferno against Astralis isn't the most exciting prospect for them. But we'll see if they can stick the landing in the first half at least. As everyone's back on the server, can confirm that. I assume with restarting Steam, we'd have to get the phones out and everything like that, so it might take it a little bit longer. And we've got 10 seconds, Matthew. The only last word you'd like to say before we get back into the action?
Nope.
Nope, that's it.
Let's get it going.
Well, Yanko does
some
get
fun
a
on the stage today.
You did. Looked like a lot of fun. We had some fun on the desk as well.
It's the loudest casting I've ever heard you doing.
My voice hurts so much. I'm not going to be able to talk tomorrow. But that was fun.
It's fine. We only have another event that we have to fly to literally tomorrow, Hank.
Yep.
You'll have lots of time to recover.
We've got to have the AWP. Like I said, it is a difficult buy, and they do go for the double orbs. It makes sense. You've got 3 lesser weapons. In this sort of setup, I don't mind the double orb. We'll see whether it works out for them. I do want to see a bit more aggression, perhaps, so, and try and get Fallen in an advantageous position where he can go for those initial kills. Device will have to extinguish that. Incendiary at the start of the round barely takes any damage from it, though. It's not a huge deal. They're 3 towards the B side of the CTs, and they're being proactive as well. They want to use this close range weaponry, and it will be Fallen take down Device, I think, through the smoke, but Blinking will miss it. Dupree on the other side of the map, looking for the second. coldzera hits the shot, and there's Yorp looking towards the apartments now.
He's well aware of the fact that there's a second player inside the apartment, so he changes his angle accordingly with that smoke. He's also aware that Zipic smoked strictly to get inside of the pit. Look at Cold dance as he goes back through a triple, gets spotted in the end by Glaive. Nearly a chance to get all of them to shut them down with a 4 kill, but Glaive now named Demoto. No Asterix in there, but dinked up in return.
Barely.
6 damage from that dinks. Astonishing. Smokes himself off. One is approaching quad, but he knows that's his invitation to try and get a bomb down there. Going to approach. Can't even find the shot towards Stewie. Good play from MIBR. Fantastic play by Cold.
Yeah, love that. There's those orbs coming out and doing a good job. You can see they're trying to funnel them towards coldzera. The fact he's waiting in such a great position as well. He hit some fantastic shots. Look at him go. Zipex found the opener, but it wasn't quite enough. And that CT push towards the B side of the map. 3 players there, SMGs, make them uncomfortable. And Fallen, I believe, got a kill through the smoke to get Device. That's a great way to open things up, of course. And that's going to put MIBR right back in the race, because that shut down the money of Astralis. A tactical timeout from them. We're going to see a lot of those throughout this series. Remember, this is the grand final. And I'll make sure the coaches that are involved in dissecting everything and helping the team out. With $3,000 available and first stage loss bonus, I don't think they'll buy, because with the 2K coming in next round, they'll be able to get AKs out and armor. So I think they'll just take maybe a very modest investment of P250s, perhaps.
We'll see how they approach it. Good win from MIBR after, again, forcing out the double op setup, making it work, and now escaping the fate of economic crisis, a recession, if you will.
This is such a gamble play from Astralis. If they win it, they reset the money back, and they probably win the half 9-6. They lose this, they almost certainly won't pick up another round.
Yeah,
So
and 7 T-side's fine, but not at this level. I mean, you want to get every single round that you can. I understand the mentality behind it, but it is a risk, certainly. Single AK only for Dupree. They're going to have to be explosive when they go to a site.
It's against those double orbs. Maybe that's why they've done it, because they know they can go for an execution here and make those a little bit less useful. As coldzera, you feel like he's going to hit shots here. No problem whatsoever. Dupree.
That's a smart way to deal with the double op. If they're going to try and go execution-based, go aggressive. Get into a different position.
Yeah.
Catches them out immediately. They can't even get to a point where they're setting up for a take. And down a man already. Thankfully, the AK does transfer over. Zipex is able to pick it up. Now rotate back down toward Banana. They haven't put any pressure on that side of the map as of yet. So they have no information whatsoever as to what's going on toward the barrels, toward the bags, if there's anyone playing aggressively. And without that information, they also can't really tell if they've gone for an early rotation, which, as we can tell on the mini-map, you can conclude for yourself. seconds on it. Incendiary covers off Boiler Door. That allows a bit more aggression in the position of Fur. Can slide out and stay underneath the roof when they walk out from the mid wall. He's also got a chance to take away the aggro, and Stewie can slide back as well. He's back. He's going to go all the way now. He wants to just get to the cubby early as Tarek. Position to support all of it. Stays below. Shoots straight up but can't find the angle. Cole's missed as well. This gives the AK a chance. Xyp9x finds one device, overwhelms Fur, and now they flood onto the site. Exactly what they needed to do with lesser weapons, and suddenly it's level. A 2-on-2, but you're right, no bomb. 7 seconds. It can't even get there. Can it? It's gonna have to be perfect. It's gonna have to be, no, it's too late. Oh, that might be. It might be, but not with the AK in position. Time is gone. It was about a tick too late.
Yeah.
And 7-7 MIBR.
Great effort there from Astralis, but ultimately did not win the round. They get that bomb down as a serious chance of winning out in the 1 versus 1, but great frags did not equal victory. It will be now the final round of the half. Got one AK-47, but Xyp9x, he's still got $1,000 there. Did he not want to drop? Okay, he's got a few more residual grenades to buy, so that's fine, and we'll see whether this will be enough to win the final round. It's going to be a Xyp9x AK, 4 CZs, and back to the single orb setup here, as we'll see MIBR try and close things out. Good grenade at the start. Fallen again. I think that's a straight up wallbang to take down device. The headshot. It's only one of the pistol players, not the worst frag to lose, but still, Fallen has got 16 frags in this half. That's pretty remarkable.
Rival chants begin. Reasonable support on both sides, it sounds like. That might be our 8 rounds. CT side is significant because we've talked about the problems that they have defensively. More so, Astralis hasn't had the most convincing CT sides, in all fairness. This first map could actually go the way of the Brazilian core.
Oh, yes.
With the only 2 Americans in the final. Only 2 Americans that actually made it through to the playoffs, to be precise. And it looks to be the execution with 4 players up.
They'll give it everything they've got here. Molotov, Smokes, up against Fallen and Stewie as usual. They seem to be aware though. Fur rotating in with the decoy in hand. Here comes the Molotovs. The execution is looking pretty decent so far as they boost players up. Fallen out of position. How has he hit that? Blind as well. As he fades away, he shuts the round down. It's going to be 1 frag in return from Xyp9x here, but surely they're not going to get away with this one. It would take something absolutely disastrous to happen at this point. The bomb is going to be planted in Dupree. Oh, what? Through the smoke, finds another. All of a sudden, it's a 2-on-2, and they've got a real chance here.
7 HP, Dupree hits that shot. Bomb planted. Cold's got to get back in. That's giving them everything they need. No kits for Cold or Tarek to work with. Fallen may have had one down inside of the site. It may just be around the corner where in which Xyp9x is playing from, but Dupree, AWP with that low H. Health won't matter. He can pick it all. He finds Cold as well. That's pretty smart because he can hold that weapon. He can hold the angle. 4 kills for him, and it goes 8-7. Astralis pull it back.
That's so sick from Dupree. I don't know how they've managed to do it. The full execution. A 5-on-4. They had CZs and 1 AK-47. This man considered the secondary AWP now of Astralis. Oh my goodness. Absolutely rails Stewie through the smoke. Then hits every single shot. Looking better and better with this weapon every time I see him pick it up. And we'll get into the second half as Astralis steal away that last round. Amazing scenes here. We've been treated some great clutches so far. And we'll see if we're going to have any more. I'm sure there's plenty more to come. And looking at the CT setup now for Astralis, we'll be right back into the action. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This one's just warming up. Your grand final continues here as Astralis on the CT side. They've got 1 smoke, no kits, and a CZ for Glaive. And it looks like a fast speed rush here. The 2 HEs give it away. They needed the start to push back any CT aggression, and they won the fight here. Xyp9x knows it. He knows what those nades mean. And they'll be smoking in very quickly here and presumably committing, but no. They use the HEs to get the presence, and I'm not sure what's going to happen here. I thought that would be the full commitment. If you're going to expend almost all the utility you brought up, smokes, HEs, flashes, and then you don't commit. They'll get a fall back towards A here. They have 1 smoke remaining.
Certainly keeps them on their toes there. You can see the rotation as a result of it. Jisk was already back towards Speedway. Let's have a chance to overwhelm on A. He's backside arch. Dupree forced into the sights. Chicken's still trying to work away from him. Keep him in mind. Xyp9x holding, waiting for the push through, finds 1. Second one toward Library. It's going to be Jisk with the crossfire, and they each find a kill plus another 2 for Xyp9x as he turns around, somehow staying alive. Smartly turned away to make the hitbox a little bit smaller on his head, and then absolutely was ready to fight as soon as the reload was done. Stewie's left in a 1-on-4. No chance for them, as Astralis is going to take a 9-7 lead plus the pistol. Both pistols now going their way. So he'll do what he can.
Hold the
Further
phone.
damage. There's 3 that are extremely low. 36. He may be able to isolate this to Ruins. Has device. Bomb still down towards CT. You can see Zipix immediately running back. Hang on, we got to hold on to that.
Yeah, well, they're going to try and run the clock down as low as they possibly can at this point. And that's the right thing to do. They've actually let the bomb go. So they know Stewie can't just run up and pick the bomb up, right? He's going to assume players are dead. This is a massive risk, but oh my goodness, I thought he had another one. So MIBR go for the banana rush. I assume that was the call. I don't see what benefit they'd have faking that with all 5 players. They've got no presence towards A. They seem to cancel it. I feel like they'd have to commit with that. You use the HGs, the smokes, the flashbangs. You have nothing really left as they go through the CD spawn and find the meat grinder has fallen. Really should have got that frag on Zipx, but unfortunately didn't work out for him. It's going to be 9-7. Astralis, you are absolutely right. Pick up the pistol, but remember, MIBR love to force buy in that second round. We're seeing a scout already, and our good old friend TeamSpeak has had an issue, Matthew, so we're going to wait a little bit here.
Let's see if they can get it sorted. Starting to wonder if it's Zonic, because he's trying to lean in and speak to Dupree rather than communicate through the comms. So get it sorted either way. As always, Henry, it's your favorite program.
It is. I really might have to start a campaign to find a new bit of software to handle this.
Why don't you just build one? And you can just sell it to everyone.
That's probably a good idea.
And then you can invest it in cryptocurrency and Tesla and run away to the hills.
That's
Tommy will help
the
you do
best
it.
of all the worlds combined. That's great. Well, it will be 9-7. Like I said, the force buy coming in. The guys are purchasing up. I can see Orcs coming out. Device, remember, throughout this tournament, Matt, he actually is another player embracing the new weapon. I saw you have a go of it in the show match. How did you feel?
Let's not talk about that round. The gun felt great. The round felt not so great.
Fair enough. We're seeing, though, a slow development, though. It's actually a very viable weapon in the competitive scene, and certain maps really lend itself to it, especially Inferno. If you hold like coffins or apartments with the Orc, there's great headshot positions there, and we'll see if he can start lighting it up. Remember, that force buy, Scout for Fallen, and Deagles on his teammates. Coldzera looking to find heads. This is his home map. I love watching Coldzera on Inferno. He definitely can make them victorious here in the second round. We'll see what happens.
Here's the nades. Starting off, it's smokes, so they don't go quite as aggressive with the airstrike as we formerly have seen from Astralis in rounds. They do have the massive weapon advantage, but Fallen, again, we talked about this as well with the Scout. We saw it on Nuke. You don't necessarily have to get the kills with it on these rounds. You want to just get as much damage as you possibly can to allow the pistols to then capitalize on it. It is Fallen. He's more than capable of headshots, but both will suffice. Glaive gets pushed down, clears it out. Didn't need a lot of utility to do so this time. Meanwhile, back over toward the top side of mid. That is where MIBR wished to strike. But just one waiting toward Pit. He'll fall off it, very efficient in that position. I think he's got a smoke down in front just currently to make sure he can push out through, but he's heading in the direction of Fallen, put him on 10 already, and that's what the Scout, that one's gonna put him down. No chance he escapes that one. That range, that low HP, but watch Glaive. Remember, he got here without utility. He's got an overwhelming amount of players in front of him. Zipix tries to help in that position, get the crossfire set up. He still finds 2 for 1, but it's gonna give at least one gun to now complement the Scout.
Well, still 30 seconds remaining. They know exactly where they are. And Dupree with a position. Probably doesn't find the kill there, considering he's got the MP9, but does a lot of damage towards Tarek, and that might dissuade them from going for this. But to be fair, they need the cash, so I assume they'll just run in and try and go for a plant here. Drop a smoke to gain them access towards the site. Actually worked out horribly because that's not taking any vision away. In fact, just blocked theirs.
Absolutely does.
Not great.
Yeah, and at this point as well, with 2 on 4, not a lot of time left in the round, with picking up an SMG, you can farm a bit of cash with that. And you can certainly cause reinvestment, because now we do go into the gun rounds. Ooh, I take that back. They went a little more aggressive on the force, didn't they? What am I saying? So it's only 25-50. That was pre-injection on the cash. This will give reasonable chance as well. What's Glaive going to do with 45-50? Probably go like, immediately M4. They're not going to try and get an op early. Device is comfortable on that AUG.
Go right, boys. Always go right.
Pass on right. Why is that hard? I think Pimp and I did that in the show match, to be fair. What am I saying?
Yeah.
It's probably my fault too, let's be honest.
We're going to see clocks and PD50s here. No armor. That really was the nightmare scenario. If you force buy in that second and you don't get the plant out of it, you're going to be hamstrung now going forward in this half, and they've already lost both pistols, and it's going to be 11-7 after this round. If they can get a plant down, I'll be very impressed, but Inferno just doesn't really lend itself to cheeky plants here. Maps like Train we talk about, because you have that inside prospector pushing in the lower ramp. All 5 can overwhelm the one player, but Inferno, that's not really an option. You really do need smokes and flashbangs to remove vision from the CTs and push them back towards their spawn positions all on the bomb site. As we'll see the 5-on-3 underway. couple of flashes. Fallen wanted to try and get them toward the bomb side, but it looks like they'll get absolutely nothing out of this. Zipex continues to apply the pressure. As he'll be flashed off, doesn't need to overcommit. And the Orr probably going to find its first kill, not quite. And there it is. Clean round for Astralis, plenty of money in the bag. And now it's up to MIBR to try and answer back. They have about 5k per player. I don't think they'll bring the AWP unless Fallen wants to go glass cannon.
They do bring the AWP out for Device, though. He is going to swap it over. Dupree was capable of doing so, and he'll take the AUG. He's comfortable with it as well. And it's Fallen that's still making a decision. T-side AWP for Fallen hasn't been as promising as it certainly showed to be on the CT side this map, but he's capable, he's quick. If he's having a game like he is right now, everyone on his team has 9 kills, by the way, except for him. He has 18, so he's double everyone else.
Oh, you're right, that's kind of weird, isn't it?
He is twice as good as all of his teammates.
Exactly, on the nose. Well, there it is. You can see Yanko trying to fire them up. They have got 5 AKs who are considering the AWP purchase, but it's not going to happen. We've already explained that in the first half. It's not massively impactful in the mid stages of Inferno. It can be difficult to work picks with it. It's better to have more dynamic teamwork with the 5 AKs, unless you pick the AWP up and you feel like you can exploit one of their defenses, as Device will certainly have it. Look at the cash available for him as well, with 7k fully invested with the AWP. Throws the incendiary at the start to stop players getting towards that underpass position, but Stewie, very efficient. He's going to get the kill here, no problem. He's going to take Zipex down. Can they get the response, though? They certainly can. Great teamwork, good flashbang. You see that incendiary following up as well, as locking Stewie in position.
Glaive back around the corner, smoke deep, and Molotov close. He's able to clear. Minute 26. There's no guarantees on that side of the map, but they are going to put him low. He's been getting aggressive now twice already. We saw with the UMP just 2 rounds ago, and that's in a short amount of rounds, 4 already on this CT side that he's been there. And normally they don't get that aggressive with it. They clear, but they hold toward the top side. So a bit of a change of play from Astralis in that regard. His Device now forced off, has to go inside of the site. They will obviously have an anchor still sword toward pit. And that's going to be Majisk. This is Dead's fallen, and it's worked out twice that he's gotten kills in that position, Glaive. And that's all for sale, though. Back over toward pit. Oh, Majisk flashed off. He's got another down, but Molotov's going to force him out. They've got the angle. He's got the AUG. He's got a kill. Fur gets one back, and Device's smoke. This should give them the bomb plant at the very least. Nade's not going to do any further damage because it goes far and they go safe inside of the site. They'll likely burrow on top of it as well. Smoke for quad. That allows Fur to at least focus. He can transition on this as well, and he goes wide side triple to get back to pit.
Actually give MIBR a slight advantage here. With the fact they have this lovely crossfire setup, they bought themselves some time with that decent smoke as well. There's not really much utility in the Astralis side. This would be difficult. 2 of the best players in MIBR in position, full HP, waiting to receive Astralis, who will commit now.
Flash goes over. Fur's not caught by that. Dupree, though, does get the first. He's not in a position where the bomb is planted for him, but he is in a position to capitalize on 2. They're on the defuse. Device is so low on HP, but he's going to hold the angle, and you're right. Fur just couldn't step wide enough to ever see that defuse for Glaive. He could have held that all day, whether or not Device won the duel.
You're absolutely right there. Valiant effort, but the bomb just in an awful position. They didn't feel comfortable when they're going for the plant. Wasn't ideal. It was a nice looking crossfire there, but couldn't hit that initial shot. And it will be 12-7. Yanko doesn't look happy.
4 straight rounds Astralis on this, their CT side. None for MIBR thus far.
You're absolutely right there. MIBR still with the bomb down. They have another buy available. This is maximum loss bonus now, remember, even with the 4-0, because obviously you get double the cash now after losing the pistol. Or I shouldn't say double, you get $500 extra than what you used to. And that carries on and counts as an extra loss bonus, as we'll see now. AK's come forward, trying to get them rallied up and back into this game. Remember, it normally takes a godlike Coldera performance on their T side to really get them over the finish line, and we'll see if this is it. Device now just shy of $10,000 as we enter round number 20. Looking quite bleak here for MIBR, but still plenty of time left.
Dupree to mid, AK in hand, and no one even looking at him. He's going to go the whole way around the corner. They didn't even check it. Falling gets a response. That could have easily been 2 for Dupree.
Yeah, that was dicey.
I would have thought the ears would have perked up at some point when he gets that close, but Nade goes deep. Fallen tagged on 6. It's still a 4-on-4. You would think favoring MIBR. Now, I do always think that Inferno is one of the maps that, similar to Nuke, a trade doesn't always favor you in the same way because you can still anchor toward the B site, so they still have 3 on A, and the low HP actually gives that position, gives the advantage still to Astralis. Great shot from Device up close, nearly found a second, but cold. He manages to hold his composure. He's got 2, and a bomb to be planted to work with Fallen.
Same position as last time, remember. This is the plan that let them down. They've got a smoke, though, towards that library position. Fallen 6, Cold Zero 64. They're both on the bomb side, no one in the pit. They have another smoke, which they'll deploy, but still, it's Zipex and Glaive, two of the best clutches in CSGO right now. Surely they're going to take this one.
Glaive on the Vespa, gets high, tries to work over the smoke. That gives him the angle on Cold. Fallen, look how clever he's being. Oh my. Standing in the smoke, is he? Yeah, I think he's lagged out. I think this is actually, oh, he's not. Okay, he is being clever. He was sitting there forever, and he wants to sneak back in. They had no idea he was there, but Glaive somehow spots him as he'd already checked the pit. If that worked, that would have been genius. I even thought he was gone.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, has that actually happened? But no, it was just sitting in the smoke as long as possible. A 10-second defuse there, really not ideal, but look how smart the positioning is, the timing. It's just beautiful to watch, and Fallen, great approach. Nice idea, just couldn't quite find the shot required to get that.
I think it was Rush, like 3 years ago, had a famous clip.
They're sitting in the smoke.
Dust 2, corner. They smoked out from Cat. He just sat there. They all ran by. He popped out and killed like 4 of them instantly. This is another push down mid. Tarek this time does get Dupree. That's a nade probably that even I could have thrown device. Not going to say anything too careful here. Didn't quite work out for him. Couldn't get the shot back, but look at the damage again. This still favors Astralis. 13 rounds, and money's still getting dire. They did get the plant last round that injected a lot more cash into them, the extra $800. Good fight from Stewie. They need that desperately at this point in the round. Zipex can't afford to be aggressive on this, so he's going to be very passive on Banana. That'll allow them to work back over in this direction and potentially give them execution as well. They've got 2 smokes still to work with, 3 flashes, a Molotov in the hands of Fur, and if they wanted, in the hands of Cold, where Cold has the bomb, they can get him in quick enough, they'll even potentially have a Molotov left over for the post plant.
Such low HP, and they're heading towards the B side, so we've had lots of aggression there. I respect them as Astralis. When you have this huge buffer of rounds in the bag, why not try to get stuck in there and surprise them and shut down any adaptations they're making? Zipex at the smoke as well, that's lovely.
It is lovely, but this is exactly it. Zipex, they say this, admittedly, that he plays the hardest positions on the team, and he often has to anchor. He was alone. If they had gone through, if that smoke didn't come down, that would have been the round in itself. Now at least he gets device to the site, but he's going to have to push through the smoke, be very aggressive on this. They could fake it back, 28 seconds. This would be a really dicey mid-round call, but it's all due to the fact and position of Tarek. He's up toward the arch, unsighted, 20 seconds. All they have to do is find Magisk, but likewise, all he has to do is play the time.
Yeah.
So he's going to wait it, spots them. That'll slow their approach. Bomb is on the quad side, 12 seconds. They've got 6 to the plant. Magisk gets high again, smoke down, that extinguishes the Molotov. You can't quite find the planter, so they will at least cover it off. Good smokes to do so. All they needed to do was isolate him. They had already cleared the other side, and now the retake is on, and he's still alive in this.
I don't know
but
how.
He's being watched like a hawk. It's actually kind of clever. MIBR just avoided him. Smoke him off. Let's get the bomb down. That's #1 priority.
They're not even that worried about him, are they? Just like, they can't kill us, so
it's
we'll
almost
leave him
frustrating. If you're Magisk right now, you're going to be super frustrated. You're relying on the aggro from your teammates, and they're taking their time getting there. Just to the front of library now. He'll pop to find Cold. Still spraying through, hoping that he can get a few wall shots onto the weekend. Fur jumping up, device can't get the aim. Tarek holds it off. That's very well done from MIBR.
Yeah, really touch and go, I have to say. The fullback from B after showing so much there. Could have gone either way. Mage is considered one of the best pit players we have in the game right now. And the fact he only gets 1 is surprising. I thought he would be good for 2 there. But very well done. MIBR calculated and calm in that situation, allowing him to stay alive and then waiting for the retake to come in. Great positioning, and it will be their first round on the T side. They need to avoid this reset, Matt. It can't happen here. They need to stay alive, and I don't think we'll see as much aggression from the CT forces this time. Good grenades, though, as Glaive will be taking down a 64.
Stewie, yeah, I didn't think there was going to be a gap there. He's trying to hug the wall. Stepped on one of the 2 Molotovs, down to 20 HP. No further nades will capitalize on that. If a single nade went in that direction, they would have had it fallen. Great shot on Glaive. Wow. We know Glaive likes to peek that position. We saw so yesterday. So this time, unlike the last few rounds, they haven't had to compensate for a trade and a deficit in HP. They've got the advantage to work with. Zipex now alone yet again on the B side. Bit of a cheat leading the bases, if you want to call it that, from Dupree as he gets back over. 1 to bait and 1 to play. Remember when the cart used to be here and the one-way smoke? Crims used to be a master at this angle. It's very different now, to be fair. Flash out. It's very different for Zipex as well because he can't even see it. Dupree high and dry. He's able to take down Stewie. Tarek's found Magisk. That's on the off site. So that's on alert. Good play from Cold. That opens up potentially the site, but no smoke down. Device gets 1 more.
Oh, they got a fall back, and that's what he's doing as well.
That's actually true. He got the 1 pick, but he's alone, and therefore was actually thinking about saving. Yet they're going to rotate back over because once again, Tarek's the one that has the archway. Device could actually surprise them here.
He's going to get a kill depending on the timings. It's going to be Tarek, who surely... Oh, God. Not sure they spotted him there, but it looks like that's enough for Device.
Yeah, he thinks that if they have, it's not even worth it. This op's going to be valuable for them because now we go 13-9, and we're getting into that very tedious time for the CTs where they're trying desperately to chase the money.
They have to have an eco here. So, a great chance for MIBR to bring this one back. 2 great rounds there. This shot from Fallen, I don't even know how he does it. As he will get that opening kill, and it's the response to it. I love this from Cold Zero. The fact Stewie went in looking on the bomb site itself, and Cold Zero there using that information, great comms as he goes in and takes down the boosted player. It is a full eco here. They will have a buy next round with $2,400 coming in per player. Won't be the best buy, but certainly won't be the worst. We'll see Stewie trying to push them back with the HEs. This should be a foregone conclusion. We should have MIBR finding double digits, so potentially by even dropping a player. Just need to make sure they trade out kills. No one needs to commit by themselves towards middle or B. Just try and get some intel. It's a restack towards B, sort of 3 players there, but shouldn't be too hard to handle.
Molotov clears orange 1. That's fine. Device. He's hanging out with the fishes. He will transition, or rather Glaive will at least behind him. Being very patient to watch CT, but that will now be smoked flash, and maybe because they have pistols. Device picks some damage in, tries to blend in with the statue. Look like he's immortalized in that position, but he actually is just going to go down. Cold will take out Glaive as well. Burr was waiting the whole time, and waiting shall yield results. He now gets a kill that's going to certainly secure, if the others weren't convincing enough, that MIBR is going to get double digits. So it'll go 13-10. Again, this is where Astralis has to be very careful of the money. This will be a 3rd round bonus. They'll be able to buy in the next. Dupree trying to show off his game sense.
Gets the headshot, but that's it. They give away 1 frag. Absolutely fine in that respect, but there it is, double digits. So Astralis, that big lead they built up after losing 3 rounds in a row. The gap has been closed, and this actually looks possible now for MIBR. So Yaka looks a lot calmer. He knows they have the advantage here. Astralis with the tactical timeout, discussing their options. They are going to buy. But are they going to go for more aggression towards middle? Are they going to move the AWP around and see if Device can be as successful as he has been all tournament on Inferno? He has not purchased the AWP. It doesn't look like it'll be dropped either. They don't really have the resources to pull it out.
AK's falling this time. Has the option of the op. I think there's an AK down for him. Stewie, is it spawn-based? T-side op for Stewie? I'm imagining, yeah, I was going to say, imagining it has to be at that point.
He presumably just goes and straight up faces Banana or holds a T-steps and awaits a Device pick. Those are his 2 options, really. And it looks like he will be challenging a B. Going to drop the smoke to deny the incendiary. Molotov in as well. And looking for that pick, no one there to find. But still, he has got Banana.
He was almost too... Yes, okay, job done in that sense. But he was almost too good at taking the position. That Molotov that he threw out, as well as the self-preserving smoke, forced them off too quickly. But you're right, look at that nade, down to 40 HP. I would have expected at this point they would have switched it back, but they actually want to go aggressive toward the top of middle. Cold, the only one that gets a kill. Dupree sprays down with 2. And Fallen still sitting back on the AK, has Stewie rejoin him, but they're down by 2 men. And Astralis with guns back look to find 14. Put themselves within 2 of closing out on map number 1. Overpass is next.
Scary prospect again.
Fallen will work first. Still haven't switched the gun back. They're going to leave it at this point. Stewie seemingly happy to hold on to the AWP. Certainly capable at times. We've seen that in the past. Certainly on this map at the Major. In January. Jisk peeks out and spots 2. Nades will do further damage. Maybe not. Went inside the site. Not out. If it had gone outside, it would have potentially put them down to within red HP. Both of them, because they were close enough together. Stewie's starting to be aware that timing is working against them, and there could be someone in behind. 2 in the pit's going to be a problem. Yeah, Dupree easily able to spray on that with the information, even if they isolate Jisk. Stewie tries to find 1, but there's the arrival of Zippix. 14 for Astralis.
Absolutely true. Astralis now touching distance of picking up the first map in this best of 3. You'll see that spray down working in tandem there from Quad. There's a player at Arch as well that's raining down hell through the smoke, finding so much damage as well. And Stewie had already taken that meaty grenade at the very start. So it was difficult for Fallen himself to actually do anything about it. You can see the money, if they lose this round, not only be map point, they'll have nothing left as the Gorillas pours out. But there is Fallen in towards that underpass. Device has his sniper as well. As the battle rages on here at B, the banana area has become a fortress for Astralis these days. Very difficult to flush them out of position, as it will be Device and Zipex this time with the AWP on the B side. They'll flash him off, but fires off a shot. Does that connect? Was that hit on Fer? No, it was not. So they've managed to get Device off the corner at least. And a good grenade should do reasonable damage here to Dupree. Might as well stay there now, he's committed.
Yeah. Wouldn't be worth it to lose the HP and not play the position. Make it worth it. If he can get a kill, that's for sure. It looks like we'll go back over toward A as well. The smoke will be a bit of a problem for Device, so instead he'll Molotov it to try and get... Oh, full. Yeah, really. Scoped in, didn't see that it was spreading there, did he?
I think he was hoping that the fact if he sits in the flames, the CTs might think it's safe, and he'll take a risk there, but yes, it didn't work out either way. And they'll go back towards the B side. That's a brave move. Like we said. Zipex now and Glaive, who is the usual player. Device has gone back towards the A site. But they're so good, these two. I'm not sure how he shut them down. Fall and the timing there, that's so close. But it does pull off a rotation. You can see Glaive has left Zipex now, so he doesn't get the kill, but it's enough to buy them some time here.
With 19 seconds, absolutely. They're going to gamble on it. Zipex nearly had a chance to line them up. Gets one. Glaive still found one as well through the smoke. That's bomb, and Stewie's low. He didn't spray in to find him that time. If he had, it might have been the round in itself. Instead, Stewie sees the tracers and punishes him for it. It's a 3-on-3. MIBR with the sight with the bomb down. Astralis with very little to work with in terms of utility. They have a kit from a Jisk. They've got a lot of work to do, and Device has found a fall and just holding the angle with patience. Didn't buy the bite on the shoulder bait, so now it's going to be Jisk swinging back in. Bomb. The AWP is, I was going to say, bomb 2 for gone. The AWP is all they want, but Fallen well aware that that M4 hit the deck, and he's able to close it out.
Well, there it is. Somehow they managed to make the round work there. It was looking disastrous with the bomb down in the smoke and spawn. The sound cues Glaive had available to him. I thought he was going to get the kill on Stewie 2K. He goes down to that Galil. The must-win round for MIBR comes in, and it's going to reset Astralis once again, who only saved one AK-47. That's in the hands of Dupree. A frustrating round there for the Danes. And we'll see if they take the full eco out. I assume they will. It's going to allow MIBR to get really, really close at this point to tying things up. This could be a double eco, or they might even force into it. We'll have a look at what setup we're going with. And Zipex, he invests a lot, down to $700 here. So they've got CZs, 1 AK, and they're going to treat it like a gun round now. You can see they've got the smokes here. There's enough firepower to win the round. So we'll see if Dupree can find a quick first pick. Not going to happen. Falls back as Fallen holds strong in the underpass there.
It's a big win to get the 11th to reset Astralis as well. Stewie, that's perfect. He can hear them running back. Knows that the flash is certainly going to give him the position. Not really much to worry about unless there's someone else. So checks the corners, the angles. Fallen, jumps the op in, tries to go for a fast pick towards CT. That was a set shot. He would fire no matter what when he landed. Doesn't matter if he had a smoke or a flash or if someone was there or not. He was always going to shoot. With the AK gone, that's the only gun. That could be the round in itself if they continue to wrap onto A. The only one left over there is Majisk, and Device already squandered in his chances to try and take back Arch. Glaive, great shot though on Defer. I will give him that. AK down. Just keep that in mind in that position. So Tarek probably won't go far from here.
They've actually rotated towards B though. There was no chance for Astralis, but MIBR are opening the door of opportunity. These kills decided, really. It's Stewie to try and find both. Can't do it, though. Matt, this is falling apart. That is going to be bombed down with a smoke as well. Glaive can recover a rifle at this stage. You'll hear players on the other side. This is actually looking very promising. One round away from map point. The flashbang is decent, but Glaive has to sit in the smoke. They know he's there. They're spraying away. That's a big kill. That opens up the B site here, and the rotations have to come through from Device and Majisk.
Smoke down late. They do get the other AK that was toward the Arch. Fallen taps. He's not convinced they're alone at this point in time. Checks out Emo positions. New box as well. Tarek does get, but just gets all on Device. He's got to push the smoke. Tarek still looking in. They don't have the call on this. They don't know if he's still towards CT. Fallen should be looking in this direction. He's not. Does see him now. I was going to say, toward the water, he should have had the angle. 12 for MIBR. They just barely pulled that back, all things considered.
Yeah, Glaive there. He was the one that decided everything. If he gets another kill, round is over. They did such a good job to even get in this spot. Zipex with the CZ, but Glaive had already found a kill at this point. That was his second. Gets the AK. If the smoke had been a little bit deeper, I think he actually wins it. But Tarek holding strong there. Finds Magisk, and it has to be a partial by this point. Astralis still can't find map points. Deagle CZ, no armor, no nades. This should be 14-13.
Cold. Close wall. Does find Magisk. Second peek for him, and it yields nothing. Pistols, I guess, was always going to go for a headshot. Might as well give it a chance. He'll keep the same angle covered off as Nate goes into Boiler. He is dinked this time. 14 HP, but 2 kills for him, and Stewie will now take over responsibilities at Banana to do the same. Try and find his second kill. Zipic's the man he's looking for. Jumps high, gets wide, but spotted. Stewie's not going to run after that. Certainly aware he's back in the sight. Can't quite see him behind the fountain. It's a clever position. Works every now and then, but not when you're wise as these guys. 14-13, MIBR right back into this.
I can smell overtime here, Matt.
You always say that.
Well, humor me at least. Allow me to explain.
No, the money situation, I certainly agree. It's a possibility.
All it's going to take is one round for Astralis to get, then reset. And the money's not fantastic. We'll see Device with the AWP, their final pause coming in. We'll see Zipex, the last player to purchase. Can feel it really getting quite tense in here at this point. Orbs on either side, Astralis dropping off. They've only picked up a single round out of the last 7. And they had a 6-0 lead at the start of the half, or 5-0 I should say. But it's MIBR that have really turned it on. MIBR getting closer and closer now. They've got a nice reservoir of cash as well. Fallen $8,000. As we head into round number 28, going the full distance here. Flashbang over, aggressive stuff in the CTs. And we'll see them push through the smoke, waiting for the grenades to be thrown down. Stewie doesn't take as much damage this time. 4 players at the bottom of Banana.
Zipix jumps up to spot 1, they get closer. He'll back away, he's not unwise to the fact that there's no need to give away our pick early. This is a desperate round for Astralis, given the situation, given the money. They could tie this back up at MIBR. I could even see it with this round going 16-14 in their favor. Some residual cash still left over on the MIBR side as well, even if they aren't able to succeed in this round. All in waiting to see if there'll be any further aggression. The Molotov suggests otherwise. Device. He'll play it from CT and wait for them to get back in, but he is going to be smoked off. Flashed as well, that won't matter. He's got cold. First one successful, and Zipix trying to buy some space. Will slow them down. Device goes back for more, and Tarek's next in line. Zipix feels confidence based on that to spray in. Fur has to hold the corner and get away. Already you can see it. They've sent Stewie to the other side of the map thinking desperately, can we get something done?
Well, that's much more like it from Device. We'll see what they can do as they fall back towards A, but they've got one player positioned in Arch, that's Fallen. He has to find opening picks here, but they're running out of time. 25 seconds here. They have 1 smoke, 1 Molotov. Stewie's low. There is a player in Arch now. They'll use that 1 smoke to get to that position and try and split between Quad and the Arch side. I don't think this will work out. This is surely Astralis posting that point.
Dupree ready. Magisk holding. As the fans say, there's 10 seconds, and Dupree's got the crossfire set. Stewie finds 1, Magisk on the other. That should be a round in itself, but Fallen does at least get 1 back for redemption. I thought maybe he'd get the bomb, but it was on 4 seconds when he hit the kill, so no chance. It's map point Astralis.
And this is why overtime is looking very likely, because you can see 2 players survive on the Astralis side. If they give this one up, it's a full reset, and they'll have no cash remaining. Device, he does such a great job here. The fact he challenges once again, just as they're ready for him, he catches them, the nades out. So fantastic work. As we enter round 29, the full distance coming in here. Astralis have a chance to close up the first map right here, right now. Final, 1 more tactical timeout remaining from MIBR. They're using 1 right now. Money is there for the Orb once again. Stewie purchases it. It's Fallen, I assume, that needs to drop. There's going to be a compromise here. We'll see how influential it is. A UMP as well for Magisk and Glaive, and that's why this looks like MIBR might be able to... Oh, double orb on the T side. Yanko's called this. I've seen it before from MIBR. I've questioned him about it, and he says, you know what, these guys, they want to use it, they're ready, they feel like they can shut something down here.
Apartments as well. Fallen, that's aggressive. Certainly can give him the angle if anyone wants to get aggressive against him, but he also can try and pick in. Stewie was obviously going to go this way. He's done it before. Stays away from the... Oh, that's exactly the shot. That's exactly it. If Dupree pushes, Fallen has that all day long, and Stewie's going to follow it up. The double up might just work. He stayed away from the tree to avoid the nades this time. No Molotov. Stewie gets a second, and now Device goes back out trying to make amends with the fact he's lost 2 teammates, but it's only a tag. Through the edge of the wall, Tarek's down to 20, and Stewie's still on 24, but they've got all 5 alive, and they've got the Arch to work with. Further wants to go first. Keep in mind the bomb is still way back toward T-Stairs because they know there has to be a CT response at this point in time. No need to get caught out in Banana and give that away. Zipix is even getting uncomfortable. He's got to search around. Good find on Fallen. They would not have expected him to leave this site. He's such a good anchor player. It's not often you see him drifting in the waters. As Cold finds Magisk, it does still make problems worse though. For Astralis, Zipix continues to be aggressive on this. They now know he's left B. And smartly they want to go back to it, but he's not far away. He can get there. Oh, this is even better too, because if they push that smoke, he's got flames on the inside of it that'll take damage. They've got a second one. They'll extinguish, but it gives him time to get to ruins. Look at the HP! Oh, he's got a second Zipix! How does he steal back the round? Brilliant as he finds 4. All of them being proactive, all of them with utility. And now Cold with 48 has to get the bomb down before Device arrives. And Device, UMP, 48 HP is doable. The Cold is so accurate. A second the bomb's planted.
Ice cold, absolutely, my God. It goes 15-14, it's the full reset. Astralis have absolutely nothing remaining. What an epic performance from Zipex to even make it possible, but it wasn't enough. The double spray down, they commit through the smoke. That was a 4-on-2 situation. It comes down to the 1-on-1. Device threw his AWP away for the UMP as well. If he had the AWP there, Matt, I dare say he wins it. He would have the advantage, but he had a UMP instead of the AWP.
It's impressive that Cole got that shot off that quickly. I thought Device might have it just because of the 48 HP. I'm going to suggest that perhaps someone called he was lower than he was.
Sure.
For him to pick up that weapon at that range. But this is exactly where overtime, you're right, becomes a possibility. Because now look at it, 15-14, no money for Astralis.
Yeah, it's almost a likelihood at this point because you've got nothing on the CT side. 3 pistols, an SMG, and a shotgun. This is the last chance for Astralis to close it out in regulation. It's not looking good, and again, aggressive, of course. They're going to lose a player here. Surely, Zipex taken down. One more bullet there would have dropped him. He's at 28 HP. Smokes and presumably flashbangs coming in next. It's a Device with a CZ. Oh my God! It's the pistol, and Mages helped him out. They might have done it. 3 kills at the start. It's a 4-on-2. Mages surely goes down here, but he's holding so strong. That is absolutely epic. They close out the map 16-14 with nothing but pistols and shotguns. My God, it all goes wrong in the very final moments there for MIBR.
16-14 on the back of an incredible hold topside of mid. Gets the second gun out as well. The 2 CZs, look, even MIBR knows it. What can you do about that? Got absolutely obliterated by positioning, by great shots. And Astralis take map 1. We go on to Overpass next. This could be a very, very tough series now for the Brazilian core. Even Yanko. Look, that was the right call. The double up worked previously. It was brilliant, but this time they just get shut down. Oh, what a game to start it off. It had everything. Fallen was on fire, by the way. 28
Literally at some
kills.
Points. It is in that new box position. Oh God, that was a really good game. Now, if that's a sign of things to come, I'm so excited for the next map, Overpass here. It couldn't have been closer. And my God, back to you. I think we're going to take a break here. So will the players, and we'll throw it over to the lovely Alex on the desk.
Thank you very much, Henry and Sadakis. They'll be back for Overpass. First, to break it down, it's over to none other than Jason Moses O'Toole and Jacob Pim Vinicky. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. I said Vinicky again, and I feel bad, but I don't want to derail from what was truly a spectacle. I mean, a full 30 rounds. I thought MIBR had that, but again, Astralis. Jason, we talk about it time and time again. When there should be nothing left, there's always something.
Yeah, they just have this uncanny ability to just steal 1 round away that they have no business winning. In the first half, it's that round that Dupree has with the AWP and the B bomb site, and a 2-on-4 here at the end of this one. It's you have nothing to work with, and you catch MIBR. I mean, you can always question that call, I guess, from MIBR coming through smoke when you know it's going to be low econ that early end of the round and not being patient and not using your utility properly. Either way, it was a phenomenal game. It's not to be too critical. Yeah, you've fallen with 28 kills. You had Stewie and Tarek who had good games as well, which is one of the win conditions we had as the North Americans playing well amongst the Brazilians.
It really is. It's so exciting to watch. Fallen, Stewie, Coldzera, they were all having their moments. Tarek and Fer, of course, as well. But it was none other than the consistency of Astralis. Look at them. They've got, what, 3, 4 frags separating top from bottom, 5, if I'm being precise. And, I mean, Jacob, this was much closer than perhaps some would have anticipated when they saw Astralis MIBR on paper.
Yeah, yet again a 16-14 brawl on Inferno. I think we're lucky to have such great games between these two teams because it felt like in the beginning that Astralis had that under control. I think I sat with the expectation and the feeling that when they got to 7 T rounds, that would be it, you know, because Astralis CT is so good and so strong and so fundamentally right in every aspect of the game. But somehow MIBR found an opening into the game. Fallen in particular with that AVP, he was roaming around, he was feeling confident, and he needs to step it up one more time on overpass if they want any chance to win that map. So it's good to see him, you know, being that big win condition right now for the MIBR guys, but it's a little bit worrying that they yet again, you know, end up losing 16-14. This one hurts as a player. I tried it before. When you keep losing the same amount of rounds and the same time to the same team over and over again, at some point you're just going to feel, you know, what more can you do? I mean, Stewie has brought it up in every interview, every post-match, every opportunity he has to, and when talking about Astralis, saying, yeah, well, the last 3 times we played them, it was 16-14. Then they beat them in a best of 3. He felt like, you know, the monkey was off his back, and then he comes and opens the grand final with another 16-14. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's going to be bothering him. The head-to-head will reveal a little more as well. We'll be checking in with it periodically throughout this grand final. It was Device and Coldzera, and both kind of providing exactly what their team needed, wouldn't you say, Jason? Yeah, well, especially delivering in key moments. You had Coldzera winning that clutch right at the end, you know, on Device, able to even attempt to kind of finish off that comeback and force overtime. And then Device just being solid with the AWP, as we know he does. The T side a little bit quiet, but once you get him on the CT side of the op, it's so hard to predict where he's going to be. It's just the fact you have to waste so much utility just in case he is at a corner is one of his deadliest assets as a player. And I think he's going to have to also have a better game on overpass. Remember, this is a map that they've been losing lately. This is probably the biggest weakness that we've seen in this Astralis since this run began earlier in the year. Well, hold your horses. We have to continue with Inferno for a moment. Jacob, you did select a demo. What are you going to help us enlighten us with today? Yeah, it's going to showcase 2 different things. One of the things is definitely Fallen, you know, being incredibly good with AVP and being incredibly good at the game in general. He's getting 2 opening frags here in the beginning of the round, you know, making sure that the MIBR guys get it off to a good start. They're playing very, how do you say, like they play proactive, you know. He knows what he wants to do and they have a plan from the beginning. For some reason, as you can see right here, the MIBR guys is losing it. They have 3 guys stuck on the side right here, and they're all afraid of peeking. They're all afraid of playing at each other, and they just get sandwiched in by the Astralis guys right here. And that's one of those scenarios where I was sitting out behind the scene and thinking to myself, all right, guys, you're afraid of winning. You're afraid of taking that duel you should be winning, and you're afraid of making the play that you should be playing in a 4 versus 2 scenario here. Luckily for them, they had Falling making it up here. I think we get to see all 4 kills now from his perspective as well. And the 2 last one is just, you know, classic Fallen. He's showing why he's one of the best AVP players, and he's showing why he's the absolute best when it comes into clutch scenarios and a close duels distance. That's gorgeous. They did that a number of times on their defense, which is super worrying. Personally, I don't know how you feel. I hate the defensive setups that have like 2 to 3 players inside of the bomb site. I hate this cable as well. I know. I was just but like, you know, when you have 2 players inside of the bomb site, you just get trapped so easily, and that always really scares me. And it seemed like a couple times in panic they fell back into that same setup, and every time I see that I cringe a little bit. I'm just like, oh, please not this again. And that's the difference, because you have to be proactive when you're in a situation like that. One of the guys on the side have to make a plan for the other 2 and tell them, all right, guys, this is how we're going to play it out. I'm going to peek, you're going to re-peek, or something along those lines. If you just sit back and you wait, you're basically just a bunch of shooting ducks who's going to get run down by the Astralis guys at one point. Yeah, no, certainly. We do have another breakdown from you, Jason. What did you select? Overachieving, yeah. Overachieving? Yeah, it was a nice little... this is probably one of the times where you can see some of those miscommunication issues that we talk about with MIBR. This is when the bomb is planted. This is that last round of the first half. They should be able to win this after what Fallen is going to do. But you'll watch Fer and Stewie. They're the ones... This is... I don't want to say this is the right play, but it's not a bad play. They're talking right now about coming through the smoke as soon as the bomb gets planted. And somehow there's a miscommunication. In that split-second period, Fer comes through, Stewie doesn't. Obviously, the smoke shot from Dupree onto him is a little bit of luck, right? But if they come through that smoke, Dupree with an AWP has to stop them both from killing the planter. They have at least a traded kill. That's the worst outcome, and Stewie just never comes through with Fer. So whether it's miscommunication, whether it's a different idea, that's what we talk about with MIBR when we say, yeah, largely their communication isn't going to be an issue, but it is those small details. And then you look at this being a 16-14 loss, and you realize if that miscommunication doesn't occur and they get that round as they should have in a 4-on-2, maybe they're playing for the win at 15-14.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It is absolutely crazy. Now we are going to be moving to talk about our next map. So close, as our analysts have so beautifully framed, as we head into our second map of this grand final for ECS Season 6. And the guys at ECS, they're a little excited. They're closing in on 500,000 subscribers, 500,000. It feels good for them. They feel like they would like to be able to put the cherry on top at the end of this event. So all of you watching for this grand final, they are about 20,000 away. There's like 200,000 of you. If you click that subscribe button and we reach 500,000, they plan to drop a couple of 500,000 FACEIT point drops to 255 of them. So it's going to be huge.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's going to be luxurious, and we could get there if you guys keep hitting that subscribe button. Right, that's that part of my job done. Let's continue with Overpass, because, good grief, this is weird. We're going into a map that Astralis have, or at least from our read, avoiding for a while now, Jacob. It has been picked as what we considered a curveball / punish. How's it going to go down?
It depends on what MIBR shows up, and it depends on how we're going to see both teams approach this map. Because one of the things that MIBR is super, super good at doing on Overpass, especially Fer in particular, is being this havoc man in the toilet area and in the mid area. He's going to go aggressive, and he's going to be aggressive, and Astralis is going to know that. The fun thing about Fer in this scenario is that he has some sort of sixth sense to find that balance where he knows when to go super, super aggressive and just be a little bit aggressive. And if he can find that balance and be, annoying the Astralis guys and making sure they can't do all the setups and they can't do all the executes, and so that's first part of the duel one. Second is Fallen. He needs to step up and he needs to roam around with that AVP once again. We did see it on Inferno, which is theoretically a very hard map of doing so. So if he can do it on Inferno, he should be able to do it on Overpass again. So for that, that will be the MIBR win conditions.
I mean, that's all I want to talk about on this map is Fallen with the op. You know pretty well. He's pretty decent with that gun. Especially on this map. Yeah. But like that, he was the reason they were so dominant on Overpass. All the Brazilian core that they have over the different lineups was Fallen in the bathrooms with the op was just doing insane things that no other opera could do. And a lot of the way that this map is played now as an opera is based off what Fallen was able to do and how the shots and angles that he's able to hold. So I think that's going to be something special to watch. And for Astralis, you have to think, as much as MIBR likely kind of uses this as a punish in a way, if you can punish Astralis, they're going to know that they showed some weakness in losing that map a few times recently. If there's a map that they get done with these events, and they win in Chicago and they say, listen, we got 2 days or something like that, we're going to work on Overpass both of these days. We're going to fix some of these issues. So you have to imagine they're going to come back and show a much stronger form as well.
And I think you're spot on. I think that's part of the problem. I don't think Astralis have had time to work on the Overpass. They went straight from a blast in Copenhagen to Chicago, and then from Chicago they stayed here in Dallas, and I think they had 2 or 3 practice days before they came into this event.
Plenty of time, baby.
That's not enough to fix an entire map, and especially not a map they've been struggling so much with as Overpass. So in that regard, I think MIBR, and that's also part of the reason why they're willing to take this curveball and go into Overpass, which is a map we haven't seen neither of these teams play against each other in quite some time.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very a bit of a break from the norm. Overpass, I don't think we've even seen it that often. I think maybe 1 so far here at ECS Season 6 Finals. One thing I do want to talk about, and it will be our last point because we are going to be heading to a break, but Jason, MIBR losing another 16-14. We've already touched on it, but I can't help but feel, this is a conversation we have to have. Will those players, you know them, you've hung out with them, you certainly know their coach very well, as do I, as does Jacob. Is this something that you think they can come back from?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have any problem bouncing back mentally and just resetting for this next map. I think what it does show with all these 16-14 losses is they still haven't found that kind of attitude as a team that allows them to close games, right? Or close even a half, dropping that one crucial round like really randomly towards the end of that first half. So that comes with experience together, but they do need to find that kind of magical mindset to hit that allows you to be confident in closing out games and closing out maps and closing out halves.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think, momentum is not something you talk about, that transfer from map to map. I think all these players are professional enough and they know that Overpass is a complete new map and a complete different situation. Yeah. So they're going to come in fresh-minded, and they're right now out there talking about what it is they need to be aware of from the Astralis guys. So it should be a close one.
Should be a close one. Closing thoughts, Jason?
Yeah, you could see it at the end of that map, actually. It looked like a couple of the players from MIBR wanted to come over and talk about that last final call that maybe was a little bit frustrating coming through that smoke, getting obliterated by Magisk, and Yanko and Fallen both just kind of brushed it off, and it's like time to go outside, time to get to the next map.
Yeah, it did seem like there was definitely Fallen and Yanko both kind of making eye contact going, right, Overpass is next.
Forget it.
Yeah. Well, that's the plan. Anyway, we'll see if MIBR can take us to third or if Astralis will manage to close it out and become a champion here in Arlington. We'll go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, the casters will be guiding you through map 2 of our grand final.